Even Katrina knew to wave. Oh, I was like, perfect. That's the one. I'm retiring.
All right.
No, I'm not. I have bills, dude. It is.
Can we at least finish this show, though?
No,
like today's
this show is finished because it can get no better than some Katrina and the obscure Katrina and the Waves reference that fit just in my little window of time. So it's 5:46. I'm Danny Bonaduce. This is KZOK. Good morning.
Good morning, my dear.
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good. Why are you only okay?
When did cars get so complicated? I was super late for work this morning because
car troubles.
My window, what do you call those things? Rear view mirrors?
Side view mirrors.
Side view mirrors, both folded in, and I couldn't figure out how to fold them back out. So back in the olden days, you just push it.
Sure, yeah.
You can't push them anymore.
Oh, yes, you can.
I've tried pushing. I'm like, I'm going to break this thing off.
That's the point with me. Do you think I can't undo you? I will undo you, and you'll never work
be on
again.
the floor.
But I will so have won this argument.
You said that like such a threat. Like, wait, are we still talking about side
Yeah,
view
well, I have given, I'm old and stupid, and I have given up fighting with people, and now I fight with inanimate objects, and I almost always win. I want to fight some baby animals, but like if it ever really came up, I might
back down.
But when did it get so complicated? I had to stop my car, turn it off, put it in park, and turn it back on again to get the mirrors to go out.
Or you could just drive the 3/4 of a mile to work without having the mirrors folded out.
I was chicken.
Yeah, I was behind you. It doesn't look like you use your mirrors anyway. So, all right, so here's the deal, and then I'll get to what I was going to talk about. I'm walking, and as you know, I park as far away from here as I can.
Yeah.
There's a gate that won't open past me. I can't go any further away. Then get my little steps from the car to the elevator, maybe 500-600 steps. It's worth doing. It counts up, right? Sure. So I do it every morning. And today, I don't know if you noticed this. Did the garage seem empty to you?
Very.
Like a holiday. I checked to see, am I supposed to be here? I mean, really, if there's supposed to be 100 cars down there, there were 8.
Wow.
Yeah, that's 8 might be a semi-real number, and there could fit 1,000 cars down there.
And then you panic and think it's 3:00 in the morning or Sunday.
No. I look at my watch and then go, oh, yeah, I'm supposed to be. Matter of fact, I'm a little bit late. But I also know how to make my side view mirrors go out. I have all just sorts of special skills. I have, what is it called, a special set of skills?
Yeah.
One is I can karate chop your windows or doors or mirrors or whatever.
They'll never work again.
So, and probably my hand either. So I'm walking, and if there's 12 or 8 cars here now, all 8 of them are near where you park, as close as you can get to the elevator. It's where a normal, healthy human being would park,
right.
Close to the exit or close to the thing, but close to something. Mm-hmm. I'm as far away as you can be. So, over there, where nobody has parked yet, I don't know why that building, because there's 2 of our buildings, they share this garage, why you guys aren't, at least 3 of you, aren't starting work right now. Yeah. Don't you know it's 5:32 in the morning? I know, because I'm a little late and I'm scared. So, why aren't you having any cars? And then I look, and almost 3/4 of the way to where Sarah has parked or where you would also park to be near that elevator, there's a guy, 35, 40. It's hard to tell at the distance, but he's going to be 35 years old when I get closer to him. So it's like in Spinal Tap. There's a scene in Spinal Tap where the recognition has happened like an hour ago, and then still the thing is happening, the moment is happening. This guy's walking real far away, young man, full beard, baseball cap. So as I see him, and he's 100 yards from me and or more, it's a weird thing, that garage. You know, you could get attacked or killed. Like I told you, I frightened 2 ladies. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, right.
And one, I frightened by yelling, "Good morning," so I wouldn't surprise her and scare her. But that surprised her and scared her. So I see this guy is 100 yards away, and I give him the good morning nod, which, for those of you that don't nod professionally, the sup nod is chin up. Sup.
Up, yeah.
That's how you do it. Chin down for good morning, I'm no threat. Hey, what's happening? And that's morning. Yeah. Like that, right? Got it?
Completely right.
It's a totally true thing. It's a real thing. So I give him the okie dokie nod that things are okay, and he's looking right in my face. Nothing. So I give him the good nod again. Oh, I went the wrong way with my head. I give him the nod again that everything's okay, that I am unarmed, which is, by the way, how handshaking started. The Romans invented it, and what you're doing is you're showing I'm not armed. Mm-hmm. I don't have a sword. That's what I'm doing to this guy. Right. We're in an underground parking lot 5 in the morning. You're bigger than me. Nod, bitch.
Have you said any words at this point, or it's just been silent?
No, I screamed nod, bitch. No, it's just been silent. And I'm not even saying sup or good morning. That's in my head. I'm just doing the nod.
Totally
and
acceptable.
When he gets close enough where I could almost put out my hand and see if he wants to shake. He's about as far away as Paul is, maybe 6, 8 feet, maybe 10. He just turns and walks and doors to another thing, and I went out of my mind. So then, as the door is closing and I can still see him, I go, good morning.
Of course you did.
And he turned and he looked at me like I was the most ridiculous person ever in the whole world. Leave me alone. I'm just trying to get my days just starting. What's wrong with you, Bonaduce? Although I don't know if he knew it was Bonaduce. But it was, at least I didn't yell anything about Katrina in the waves because I thought of it right there. Oh, there's the new opening of the show. At least Katrina knew the wave. But anyway, I found it hostile and weird.
I find this has happened several times in this building. I've seen somebody park almost at the same time, and I say good morning, and they look at me. They say nothing. They just stare at me.
It's the Northwest. I'm not interested.
Freeze.
What is it? It's called something. Northwest freeze.
Yeah.
Isn't there another word for our attitude?
Northwest nasty, but that's the filthy forecast. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
I know I'm ready to go.
I've always heard it referred to as the freeze.
Northwest nice. I've heard of that. But there's one where we just don't know what I'm looking for. But anyway, so yeah, not enough people are saying hi to me when I say hi, and I don't like it.
I'm with you.
When I grew up, if you had the same matching car as somebody else, even a different color,
Right.
convertible versus hardtop, it didn't matter. If you had the same Dodge, you were besties.
Right.
You waved. You said, how's it going? You got up free. You might go to coffee. I don't know. Back in the day, there weren't coffee shops on every corner. But
You don't still do that with the Jeep? That's a thing, the Jeep wave.
too many Jeeps, and they're not all the same. I don't even know which one I drive.
Okay.
It's a Jeep Cherokee,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's
Grand
a Jeep Cherokee,
Yeah.
I don't
or a
think
Jeep
that's
Cherokee.
it.
Whatever.
I tried that when I used to drive my Subaru. Yeah, try doing that in Washington.
Oh,
What?
the Subaru wave, you just be waving all the time.
You'd be constantly.
Yeah.
Both hands.
So now we don't wave. That's sad. So I sent my brother a gift yesterday. My eldest brother, choir director guy.
You guys are starting a band.
We're starting a band. As a matter of fact, that's kind of what has this to do with this. Thank you. I wanted to do something nice for him. He's a proud guy and super over-the-top educated, yet I don't believe he earns as much salary as I do. I think I out-earn him, and I would think that probably bothers him because he went all those years in college and stuff, and I can't spell cat. Well, I could probably spell cat. But I couldn't spell caterpillar. I didn't mean that one. Who can spell caterpillar? So anyway, but I really like him, and we're starting this band. He's the music director. I just put him in charge because he's older and he's smarter. He's better about music. So why don't you be the music
He
director?
can play an
And
instrument.
he can play an instrument. I said, why don't you just pick the songs? And if I can do them, that's a song we'll do. And I'd have very little voice in this. He said, that's great. Well, he doesn't get quite that excited about things. So I went to, I remember in conversation him saying his favorite restaurant in the whole wide world was Tony Roma's. For ribs, do you guys know Tony Roma's?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be my first choice of yummy food.
And I mean, just the fact that it's a chain restaurant and just that's your favorite place in the entire world is odd to me.
Well, but remember, when he goes to pay the tab at Tony Roma's, it's going to be a thing.
Yeah.
That's something he'll have to register. I would imagine maybe not one, but if they went on a double date to Cheesecake Factory, it's the amount of money he would have to go, oh, this guy have to consider it. Well, I could probably go to Cheesecake Factory and not really think, oh my God, I'm ruined. So I said, I'm going to get him this gift card to Tony Roma's and dig me because I'm a good present sender. I'm going to send it with a $50 bill, $200 gift certificate to Tony Roma and a $50 bill. And it's going to say a present shouldn't cost you $50. So this is dinner and the 50 for parking and tip. Have fun.
That's a nice gift.
They don't do it.
They don't do what?
They don't do what?
Anything I say, they don't have solid real live gift cards. You print something out and send it to the person.
Okay.
Okay. Well, it's not as fun, and there's no $50, but here's fun, and I think it's going to bug the hell out of them. Amy did it for me, and you can pick your backgrounds. She picked a picture of me looking totally stupid, go like, that kind of face, and that's on his gift card.
News is brought to you by Les Schwab. A decades-old mine was discovered floating off the waters of Port Orchard Bay yesterday and has now been safely detonated, but not before causing a bit of panic. Of course, there's no way of knowing just from looking at it if something is inert or if it's going to blow up. So they did evacuate and make a safety perimeter all around this mine. They sent out the Navy some divers. They were able to attach a little a bit of rope to it and tow
That
it
was
away.
the craziest thing
It
to
was
watch.
the craziest thing to watch.
This is the second time in a week that I've like sat there and stared at a live feed of like the Coast Guard.
What
and
was the second?
water-
What was the first one?
That boat that was spinning in circles. I watched that thing for 45 minutes.
I thought the bomb was better. I thought
Yeah.
the bomb was better. Amy didn't recognize it. She said, "What is that?" And I said, "Well, you don't watch nearly enough cartoons because that's what every bomb in the world looks like." They stopped looking like that in World War II, although they ended up a lot of them in Korea. And that's the thing. Where did it break loose from? Where it's still been for 70 years.
Right.
That's
Well, we've
crazy.
had a lot, especially in Washington, off of our coast because we were the first line of defense against Japan. So after World War II, we had a ton of those. But where did it come from? Because it was covered in, seaweed. And
But that could be here. My first thought was Joint Base Lewis McChord. I don't know why.
Or a naval base Kitsap.
Or Naval
Yeah.
Base. Yeah. Any of the local things makes much more likely than something floating from, Southeast Asia, somewhere in the European perimeter. This seemed crazy.
Yeah, they do think that this was likely from our own military.
Did they know when they put the divers out with the rope, which I thought was a crazy plan, but seemed to work? But did they know at that point that it wasn't going to blow up? Because those guys looked like they were having a fairly decent time just swimming in circles around this giant bomb.
They did not know it was inert until they detonated it. And because there wasn't a secondary explosion, that indicates it's inert. But they're still going to,
They got to blow it up.
But had to blow it up. But I'm with Amy. When I saw this initially, I was like, oh, it's really pretty. If I was out in a boat, I'd be like, let's go look at that. What's that?
Have you ever seen a flu germ? At least on TV commercials where they fight it out with your medicine.
Yeah.
They always look like that. Like that ugly guy that has Mucinex, maybe.
Yeah.
He's snot. There's stuff fighting him that looks a lot like that.
Well, the rest of the news is pretty bad locally.
And that was kind of bad, although we seemed to enjoy it quite a bit.
No, there was no
nobody got
bad.
hurt.
I know, but a floating mine.
What
just
were those
off
divers going to
Bainbridge
do with
Island.
their day that hasn't been brightened by a possible mine from World War II?
I can't remember, by the way, the name of the
Steve.
place out on the peninsula where they filmed an officer and a gentleman, and it's an old military base, and you can go
Fort
walk.
Warden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really cool place, Danny. If you haven't gone out there yet,
I have not.
really, really cool. They don't have any more mines and such out there, but that's where they did keep a lot of that stuff and a lot of the history that you can really understand how important Washington was in World War II. And you go out to that point and you can see Japan. Like, you just see forever.
Yeah, no, very few people either know this or remember it. We're the only state hit by a Japanese bomb.
Yeah, crazy. Well, Hawaii?
Hawaii.
Right, absolutely. Were they a state? Yeah, I guess they were.
No? Yeah. All right.
We almost got that right. We all agreed on it. That seems like
a bomb
it should be
being
right.
sent over from Japan that
Contiguous.
got us.
Yeah.
It was, their bomb got us. By the way, it was a balloon bomb. They were really oddly, the sides of it would, I don't know how they did it or anything, but it's meant to pop the balloon. It follows the current. Then the heat pops the balloon when it's over its target. That's some low-tech stuff, but it worked. It got on our beach.
So back to the other bad news in the news. The number of mutilated cats in Thurston County has grown. Another one was found yesterday.
Making it
12.
All right, here's my question there, Paul. Could you just go out and find a cat right now that isn't yours in different neighborhoods so you don't really even have any stake to knowing it because that's what this guy's doing?
No, I certainly
No.
Oh, we're going to capture it.
I love-
actually get it. It would run away.
I love kitty manitties, and when I do see them, and there's a couple, there's one less. He moved away. I'm so bummed. But there's Mr. Kitters, and they do come when you call them, or you don't have to know their name, but they come right up to you and stuff like that. But that's the two I see, and I look for cats all the time. When I see a cat, run out for a second. I go, oh my God, a cat! Let's touch it.
But for the most part, they don't want.
They don't want you.
to, yeah.
The reward to catch the cat killer is now up to $30,000.
Wow.
We've had 12 since February, Lacey, Olympia, Tumwater, Thurston County. And of course, the concern continues. Who is this perpetrator?
I could do bad stuff to this guy and sleep
A lot
with
of
him.
people
absolutely.
really want to.
Yeah.
This is a bad dude.
I mean, I probably wouldn't set fire to him. That seems excessive. He's a guy and they are cats, but I'd hit him right in the nuts really hard.
A mosquito sample from wetlands near the port of Tacoma has tested positive for West Nile virus.
Wow.
The health department will set up and monitor sampling sites in and around Pierce County to see if any animals have contracted the virus. Mosquitoes, birds, mammals have all tested positive for West Nile throughout the year. But this, of course, is a bit of a concern because normally it's not west of the Cascades. And thankfully,
I don't think you can count on that anymore because I keep hearing stuff like, did you know the Columbia Tower is the tallest building this side of the Mississippi? Well, okay, those days are kind of over. There is no west or east side of the Mississippi. There's just, we travel so fast now. Everything's one big place.
Well, it would normally be out on the peninsula and not make it to the cities. And because we don't have a ton of mosquitoes in Washington, Tacoma, but they have now found West Nile, which of course can lead to a very serious illness. And after hearing this yesterday, I was completely convinced that my bedroom was full of mosquitoes last night.
Did you look around and see no mosquitoes?
There were no mosquitoes. It's totally all in my head.
They were in your head? Doesn't that buzzing sound keep you awake?
Lots of kids going back to school today. Bellingham, Blaine, Bremerton, Carbonado, Renton, Snoqualmie, Shoreline, Shelton. Good news for parents? Maybe. We, of course, will keep you posted on the potential teachers' strikes, which could be happening in Seattle, Tacoma, and Puyallup, impacting those school districts. Those are scheduled to go back to school on September 5th, and they continue negotiations today. A 4.4 magnitude earthquake struck Southern California last night, and a 3.4 magnitude aftershock hit a minute later. The epicenter was 25 miles east of Los Angeles. No injuries reported. Rates of syphilis, gonorrhea, and chlamydia have climbed for the fourth consecutive year.
And that's just in Derek.
Sorry, Derek. I didn't mean to laugh at that.
$5 says he's not listening to this
I didn't mean to say it, yeah. Luckily, Derek didn't hear it.
I'll bring my doctor's note in tomorrow.
All right, there you go.
Well, this is the fourth consecutive year that we've seen a rise in America, which is concerning. The CDC says they would like somebody to declare, what is it that you declare? A
health
epidemic.
crisis, emergency.
A health crisis, yeah.
Man, when they were doing the story on the news last night and again this morning, they're showing people walking around the city, I can only assume. But when they're doing a story on anything about people where you're not identifying them or saying they're ugly or people with huge birthmarks and you're not going to show them because it's going to hurt somebody's feelings.
Right.
The camera shot cuts off their head completely and goes down to about their knees, and that's what you show. But when you start talking about STDs and sexually transmitted diseases, and you go, what you're doing is you're showing people's who's and what's or you go behind them as they're walking away and you're going, oh, who has an STD in that area? That's a problem for me right there. But I thought it was insensitive.
Yeah.
The CDC says 2.3 million cases of STDs were diagnosed last year alone. That's pretty gross.
Is it a lot, though? Comparatively speaking, I mean, I'd rather have none.
Fourth consecutive
certainly.
year, it's gotten higher.
Right, but
so
I mean,
yes.
if it compares to receding gums, who has more? Are there more Americans with receding gums or with STDs? Or
Receding
is it
gums
the same
aren't going to
thing?
make your whoosits fall out or have kids who have all sorts of issues.
Right, but it's 2 million out of America, a lot. That's all I'm asking. Does that mean 1 in every 6, like herpes?
I don't know exactly what the population of people old enough to have sex are to make that sort of determination, but they, as I said, want this to be declared a problem, a crisis, a health crisis.
Right.
So
Okay.
clearly the CDC thinks that this is a massive problem. 4 straight years of these cases going up, and what we're also seeing with chlamydia and syphilis are bacteria resistant. So even if you start giving them drugs, antibiotics, it's not curing all the cases anymore.
You give anything I got drugs, and it's grateful. Just right off the bat, the guy's grateful.
Pretty sure you're just grateful.
So how about if, so people are out there and you're a guy, it is your responsibility to wear a condom. And on the flip side of that, and you know who I'm talking to out there, ladies and gentlemen, I would never trust a woman that would have sex with you without a condom. Like if
you
you go,
talking to Gibbons?
sure, but if you know so I'm talking to him, but yes, you're thinking about doing that.
But anyone,
any guy, yeah. Any guy, you should be responsible. Any girl that would sleep with that guy over there and not make him wrap it up, she's not to be trusted.
Yeah.
She's gonna make, if you're gonna marry her, we're gonna have babies. She's gonna make bad decisions. So both of you are making bad decisions.
Yeah, bad decisions for sure. Make a good decision right now and text that word to 200-200 for your chance to win.
Yesterday, it was extremely hot on the East Coast. A lot of people talking about all the bees that had swarmed Times Square in New York. At the baseball games last night on the East Coast, 90 degrees at 7 o'clock during start time. Well, things were a little bit, the opposite in Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho.
The opposite of civilized?
Opposite of hot?
Oh, Montana, you say.
We'll go with cold. Was
8
it
inches
cold?
of snow.
Seriously?
Look at your face, Paul. His eyes just went boing.
In August?
Yeah, August 28th yesterday.
Wow.
Today is the 29th.
They had 10 inches?
8 inches of snow.
Wow.
That's a little crazy.
That is.
Not sure which I'd prefer, the 90 degrees with swarms of bees in the biggest city or snow.
It depends, because I'll bet most of that snow is up on mountains still.
True.
But if I have to choose between right outside this door, 90 or snow, I'm going 90 every time.
What about if you add the bees, though? Yeah, there's not.
No, I'll fight the bees. They're
right.
bees.
I'd take the snow over the bees.
Police in Texas are searching for a mystery woman who rang the doorbell of a Texas home in the dead of night, partially dressed, wearing what appeared to be broken restraints on both wrists. The woman was captured on surveillance camera at this home in Montgomery, Texas. You can see in the video the woman emerges from behind a bush, barefoot, wearing a T-shirt with these what look to be restraints around her wrist. She rings the doorbell, and then the video ends.
Is that the only house she's doing this to?
Well, it's like your doorbell cam. That's
Right.
all you can see is that one person's doorbell cam. So
But she's not running around like a lunatic, ringing doorbells and going away.
the only way we would know that is if everyone had a doorbell cam.
Or they said there's a crazy woman ringing my doorbell at 3 a.m.
Nobody had woken up, and they said...
So that's the only report that we know of so far is that one house.
The only video we have. Now, one other neighbor said they think they heard their doorbell, but when they opened the door, there was nobody there.
Oh.
And this woman has now disappeared off the
Yeah,
plan.
I'm curious about this one, especially with the broken restraints.
Right, yeah.
Although one of the guys on the news said it looked like a hall pass from when he was a kid. I don't know where he went to school, that they gave you
Something
things
hanging
like
around
that.
your wrist?
Yeah. But I'm really curious about this woman.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's not a hall pass.
No, I didn't think so.
For the first time in 50 years, a NASA astronaut candidate has resigned. This dude, 35 years old, his name is Rob Cullen. He completed his first year of the 2-year training period and then decided to hang up his spacesuit for personal reasons. Now, the only other time this has happened was 1968. This dude realized that he was not cut out for flying jets. Got sick. That was, as I said, 1968.
So he didn't even get near a spacecraft.
He was a chemist, and he was part of NASA's 6th group of trainees and 2nd scientist astronaut group. So he was a scientist and then realized, sometimes scientists are pilots or people who really enjoyed that part of it.
I can't imagine the amount of jobs, if you're a hands-on worker, that you would have to decline because of your severe motion sickness.
Oh, yeah, for
Tons
sure.
of things you can't, I would imagine, can't do.
I'm shocked, though. There's been 50 years since somebody dropped out of the astronaut program. You'd think high stress, really difficult, that they would have people drop out often.
I was thinking the exact same thing, but then you take another second. Say they worked so hard to get there.
Sure.
They're pretty sure of the things that would make them wash out. I don't think there's a big surprise coming once you get to the spaceship. I think you know what's going to be expected of you.
18,000 people apply. There are 12 available spots this year. So typically when you get through and you're one of the 12, you really want this job.
Remember that lady astronaut that wore diapers, drove 1,500 miles nonstop to kidnap and kill, or I don't know if she was going to kill or not, her love rival?
Yeah, but
She
she
had-
doesn't count because she didn't quit.
She
We had to
didn't
fire her.
quit. She was taken off the bus, man.
Thieves in Paraguay have stolen 42.
Why? Paraguay.
They've stolen 42 powerful rifles from the police armory. During an inspection, police found that the battle rifles had been replaced with wooden and plastic replicas.
That's hysterical in a sad kind of way.
They're trying
And
to figure out who
Uruguay's
did it.
pretty well settled, isn't it? I mean, it's not like the drug cartels of Mexico I'm sure they have their problems, but as do we. But they're not an out-of-control country.
Paraguay? No, Paraguay and Uruguay are supposed to both be pretty good. But right next door is Brazil, where things are not always pretty good. Now, they're thinking it was people from Brazil, and there's some sort of smuggling across of borders, but someone breaks in, takes all the guns, and puts their kids' weapons in their place.
All right. Why do their kids have weapons? What kind of country is this?
And the police are saying this is one of the most embarrassing things in their police history.
Yeah, I've seen it before. People go in and take the cocaine and go, Your Honor, this man did all this with this cocaine. And then the defense attorney goes, has anybody tested that? Are you sure it's and then it turned out to be baby powder or some such thing.
San Francisco's medical examiner is investigating the discovery of a body found inside a large fish tank at a home on Clara Street in the Soma district. One man said he became suspicious when he realized his neighbor, 60-year-old Brian Egg, hadn't been seen watering his plants or walking his dog, following his normal routine. He thought to himself, I haven't seen Egg in a while. And he called the cops and said, can you do a welfare check? Somebody in the home said, oh, Brian Egg is on vacation. So the police left. Well, this guy calls again and said, can you do another welfare check? They went inside and found a headless corpse inside a giant fish tank.
Headless changes all my perceptions of what might be happening.
Yeah.
The guy didn't cut his own head off, so
Nope.
somebody had to cut his head off and stash it. You can't do that.
That's from a movie.
Yeah.
That's from like Casino or The Goodfellas or The Godfather.
That is an excellent, yeah.
Super scary. And they have no leads. And they said they're not even sure it's Egg yet. It might not be Egg.
Because it doesn't have the head, it's hard to...
Right.
Well, the fingerprints, depending on how long he'd been in there, might not match anymore.
It's going to take a while.
When they
to
get
figure
bloated out like that, they wouldn't match.
And depending on whether or not they have a record of his fingerprints.
Oh, good point. So they have to figure out, is it Egg? Or if it's not Egg, then Egg probably killed the dude or lady who's inside there. I'm guessing they know the gender. Just saying.
Yeah, you don't need the head for that.
No, you really don't. And I've said that more than once.
A man who fled at least 10 restaurant dates without paying his bill has earned himself the title of the Dine and Dash Dater.
I like it. Triple D.
Well, he goes onto apps and websites, sets up dates, goes out on a date, and then has a lovely meal, and then leaves before paying the bill.
Yeah.
So
It's kind of funny if you're not the girl.
Yeah.
Well, I'm assuming he's dating girls. I don't know.
He is.
Okay.
The bills are pretty hefty, too. They're having some nice meals. So the Dine and Dash Dater has now been caught. This is in California. He was going to Pasadena, Long Beach, Burbank, L.A., and then would say, I got to go to the bathroom, be right back, and he would leave. Well, they finally tracked this dude down. He is facing 13 years in prison.
For breaking hearts or dashing dinner?
For dashing on dinner.
Seems a little extreme.
It really does. How about you pay for your meal and say you're sorry?
Well, he's behind bars right now. They said each meal were left bills were in the hundreds, like $400 to $900. They were going to nice restos. So
where is this happening? Because
Burbank,
I've been to Long
LA,
Beach, and they got an In-N-Out burger in Long Beach.
It's a lot of...
It's just there.
It's a bunch of doubles to rack up $400.
To $900.
Yes.
Well, the DA said he's not going to have to worry about meals now. He'll get 3 square meals a day.
Wow, 3 hots and a cot.
Yep.
And then he'll date in there, if you know what I'm saying.
If he was just dining and dashing on his own, I would hate him less. But he's facing extortion, attempted extortion, grand theft, and petty theft charges. But I hate him more because he left the women sitting there mortified, wondering, do they pay the bill? Do they call the cops? Like,
no, yeah, that's why Danny and I like him more. I think. A little bit.
Okay.
It's time for today's Things Are Not Right in Florida. Story of the day.
Yay.
A man's cousin tried to steal some seemingly random items from him: a cheese grater, an empty bottle of Lysol, and a bar of soap. So this dude returns home, and there's his cousin taking those items out of his house. And he says to the police, "Who steals a cheese grater?" Lysol?
Who calls the police over a stolen cheese grater?
Especially your cousin stole
Your
your cheese
cousin's
grater.
it's called borrowing in some guys. And then the empty can of Lysol, can that even be stolen or just recycled?
Well, he arrives home. Cousin's not supposed to be in his house.
Right.
He said his cousin is packing stuff up and it's just those really random items. So he calls the cops because he was acting a little bit irrationally. And he said to the cops he was lying, throwing up his hands, saying, "I didn't do it. It wasn't me." And he said, "I don't know. Maybe he got himself on a bad batch of meth."
As opposed to those good batches of meth.
He said it must have been a bad batch of meth because around here, in this county, things have been going crazy for the last 4 days. So maybe there's a bad batch of meth.
Maybe. Or Florida.
No, Florida.
Florida.
News brought to you by Les Schwab. Want to remind you guys that Rick Jones of Goldberg Jones will be joining us this morning, 7:30, for a special edition of Life Coach. Rick Jones will be taking your calls for free, answering all your questions about divorce and family law issues. Be here in just over an hour, 7:30 this morning. Up next, music news. An acting legend is back with a Christmas album. We'll tell you who. In entertainment, you will not believe the actor joining the Joker movies. Does not seem like something he would be doing. All the latest Mariners news next, plus your chance to win tickets to an upcoming game in sports. Starting with music news, William Shatner, best known for, of course, Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
Star Trek. He's released a couple albums throughout his career, but once again, William Shatner making music. Shatner Claus, the Christmas album.
Shatner Claus. Okay.
Making music that no one ever asked for and doesn't really want.
Well, he has
I
some...
think the guy won a Grammy, didn't he?
I don't know if he won a Grammy.
Does that
Tori,
make
do you
this
know?
good?
No, it does not, but somebody must have asked for it if it got him a Grammy.
I'm looking it up.
Tori's a big William Shatner
So
fan,
it was
but she wants to
either
build a time machine.
Either William Shatner or Leonard Nimoy won a
I think
Grammy.
it was Leonard Nimoy won one for spoken word. She'll look that up, but in the meantime, I'll tell you who William Shatner is collaborating with. Iggy Pop, Henry Rollins, Brad Paisley, Mel Collins, and Judy Collins.
Okay, genius. Absolutely genius.
Blue Christmas will feature Brad Paisley. Winter Wonderland will feature Todd Rundgren. Forgot about him on there. Let's see. Oh, Silver Bells will feature Ian Anderson.
Oh, and you got to ask, is he on one leg? Because if he's not on one leg, he's not Ian Anderson.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer will feature Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top. White Christmas with Judy Collins, and Silent Night featuring Iggy Pop.
I think that's awesome. I will now officially buy this.
It's available for pre-order now, and I am so curious.
It looks like he does have a Grammy too for
What's it
spoken
for?
word. Spoken word.
Spoken word, right?
Yeah.
Danny's.
What are you laughing at?
And just the fact that that has a Grammy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know
That's
that it was
crazy.
that. I know that it was him. He won it, and it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be for that one. But yeah, for Lucy in the sky with diamonds.
Yeah,
It
so
might be
that's
that
what I'm
one.
wondering. Is that spoken word? Because he doesn't really sing.
No,
or
that is spoken word.
Yeah, but it's like an album of music.
Well, I don't
But
know.
he doesn't sing.
I don't know with this one. The one I was just trying to impersonate, the Lucy in the Sky, that's spoken word. That's
Right.
the one I believe he won the Grammy for.
I don't know.
Well, I always pre-order my Christmas records in August, so I think
Good.
I'll get on that today.
All right. It'll be released on October 26th.
Yeah.
Good for you getting ahead of the curve there. Paul. Danny's favorite band is back in the news.
T-Bo!
Close.
Rick Jones!
Oh, Hanson. I feel
How could we
shame.
forget?
Hanson.
Do you know there's words to this song?
Yeah.
No, I went to learn it on guitar, and it's a song about a relationship. I know you try hard to love her so much, we got to move on.
No.
Yes.
I think you mean...
Swear to God, I mean actual words about moving on with your life.
Wow.
Well, Taylor Hanson and his wife Natalie Hanson are expecting their 6th child together.
Nice thing to do to your wife.
35 years old, they took to Instagram to share the news.
They should take to Instagram more often and stop having sex so much.
What's better than being a dad of 5? Well, perhaps being the dad of 6.
Nope, not true.
No, not true at all.
Being the dad of less than 5, I think, would be better.
Ezra Penny, River, Vigo, and Wilhelmina can't wait to be big brothers and sisters again.
That's all of that. Oh, they can't wait to be brothers and sisters
Those
again?
are all
Yeah,
the
I'm
kids,
sure it's
yeah.
happy for them. I one time hit on the drummer thinking it was actually Taylor Swift. It's not the same look at all. He's way cuter.
The Queen of Soul is being paid homage to this week, and her viewing started yesterday.
Fairly gross, by the way.
I wish I hadn't seen pictures.
Yeah, that's what Amy saw. Like, because I'm a Catholic, we lay in state, and that's a thing, and our popes are lay in state. But she was just so, it was like she was going to sit up and start singing.
Yes.
She had her feet crossed.
That's what freaked me
That's
out.
what freaked Amy out. Like, it's just her feet, relax.
High heels and her legs crossed, like she was just relaxing, about to get up and sing a beautiful song. Well, people were coming out in droves to pay their respects to Aretha Franklin. It's part of a 2-day viewing and a week of commemorations. She will be laid to rest on Friday.
All right, on Friday. How long has she been dead by Friday?
She died on August 16th.
So 3 weeks she's been dead by the time they bury her? Yeah. That seems crazy. Bury the poor woman.
How about some good news in the news?
Love that.
We want to send you to Vegas, baby.
Vegas, baby.
For some of the biggest names in music. They'll be taking the stage for the iHeartRadio Music Festival happening September 21st and 22nd. We want to send you to Vegas, baby, on us to see that show. You're listening for the keyword. You text it to 200-200 for your chance to win the trip for two. And your next chance to text it and win, 8:10 this morning. We've had a lot of Batman movies. We've got another one coming out with Joaquin Phoenix starring as the Joker.
Joaquin Phoenix, really? Because I'm still not clear if that guy can act or not. He might have an Academy Award. I know he was nominated.
I'm pretty sure he's a great actor.
I'm pretty sure you're right. On the other hand, he's a lunatic.
Yeah, definitely,
And
for
often
sure.
plays lunatic. Remember when he was on David Letterman?
Yeah.
And after David Letterman
The full
interviewed him and he
beard.
was really crazy and acted, he didn't answer questions, just stared, and he goes, well, Joaquin, it was great having you almost here, or something like that, because he didn't participate. Now, he said it was a gag for some other movie. But
And he had that crazy beard then, right?
Yeah, no,
Well, now
he may
David
have-
Letterman has that crazy
they're
beard.
both crazy beard guys.
Well, we now know who else will be joining Joaquin Phoenix
This
in
is the solo Joker movie?
Yes.
Okay.
With handsome guy
With Joaquin Phoenix.
and not handsome guy.
Unless you not
I
are
think
the
not
guy
the Joker,
who did it in
I think-
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, that guy.
Jared Leto.
Jared
no.
Leto.
Oh, okay, because he's got a
Different
standalone. Oh, totally different. All right.
So no, that's not a standalone. That's a spin-off of Suicide Squad. This is its own movie, not connected to any other
Okay.
movie. And Joaquin Phoenix will play the Joker, and Alec Baldwin will play the father of Bruce Wayne.
Okay.
It's a bit strange, right?
Yeah. And
Really? See, I don't see it.
So it sounds like this is pre-Batman. Like Batman's maybe a kid. Like
Have you
Bruce
seen?
Wayne's maybe a kid.
Have you seen him in the Alec Baldwin
Bruce
in the what the hell is the movie I'm talking about? Mission Impossible movies where he's the head guy and doesn't like Ethan Hunt.
Yeah.
He's great. in
No,
that
he's
kind
really
of
good,
yeah.
yeah.
I think he'll be great.
We don't think Batman plays a part in this movie. That Thomas Wayne will, not Bruce Wayne.
Right.
And Thomas Wayne is Alec Baldwin. But they're keeping
That's
a lot of this
weird
under wraps.
because he should be long dead.
It's earlier.
It's before Bruce
he-
Wayne becomes Batman.
But he's 60, 65 years old.
In real life, yeah.
And when does he get killed in front
Oh,
of
you're
his
saying
newborn?
Alec Baldwin's not young enough to play the
Right.
part. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Fair
the kid's
argument.
1 year old, 2 years old when he gets killed, and you're 65. The rich guys can have babies whenever they want.
HBO's popular drama series The Deuce is set in Times Square in the 1970s before it was purged of its X-rated movie houses and adult bookstores.
Drug dealers, don't forget drug dealers.
Well, we're not talking about drugs. We're talking about X-rated movie houses. HBO has that show, The Deuce, but maybe you haven't noticed that starting at the beginning of the summer, HBO quietly removed erotic adult movies and TV shows from its streaming services.
No, I didn't realize that.
Most people did not.
They have X-rated movies on the streaming services?
They used to have a lot of
Yeah, it was like softer stuff. It
Yeah.
wasn't
Like Cinemax.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. What are you talking about? It's
so
nothing.
they call it erotic adult movies. They have removed all of their racy reality shows.
Why'd they do that?
Yeah, why did they do that?
They said it's not popular anymore. and that these soft core.
That people now have the internet, so they don't really need it.
You have porn
My
now.
my wife still watches Bachelor in Paradise. That's got to be what they considered racy for sure, and that's still a hit. People want to watch it.
They had Real Sex, a documentary.
Yeah, I remember
It
it.
was pretty intense. Taxi Cab Confessions and Cat House, which chronicled life in a brothel.
In one of Hoff's places.
Yeah. And
the
they
Moonlight
said
Bunny Ranch or Chicken Ranch or one of those places.
they had softcore erotic movies.
Do you know what that means? A totally different thing.
What's that?
If you advertise a chicken ranch.
That is different than the Bunny Ranch?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
It's younger, maler people.
Oh.
Well,
which one's which, just in case?
Bunnies are bunnies.
Yeah.
A chicken hawk, I believe, and if I'm saying anything really bad, I'm sorry, is the purveyor of young men for sex. Let's just make them over 18 for these of this conversation. But that's what you'll get yourself at a chicken ranch. Don't make that mistake. I know how it feels.
All right.
Gordon Ramsay is weighing in after an 8.
On this HBO thing?
No, we're
He's
moving
pissed?
on from HBO. Thanks, Paul.
He doesn't want those shows
Moving
taken off HBO.
Nobody wants those shows taken off. I'm with Paul.
Gordon Ramsay is in entertainment news.
Yeah.
He is weighing in after an 18-year-old with dwarfism was reportedly discouraged from taking a college cooking class because of his size. This kid's name is Louis Makepeace. He was born with achondroplasia, which is a common form of dwarfism. He was granted a spot at a college's hospitality and catering course, but then they said, you realize you're pretty short and you probably won't be able to work in commercial kitchens, so you shouldn't take this class. Well, the press got wind of it. This kid has been all over the press in England, and Gordon Ramsay has weighed in and said, this is a disgusting attitude. I would offer him an apprenticeship any day. And now the college said they are reviewing his case.
The college is right.
That
College is
he can't work
absolutely
in-
right. Now, it's funny because I'm on the radio and I'm about to say, if I were going to say this in publicly, I would never say that the college is right and the dwarf doesn't deserve a shot. That's craziness. But in fact, you have to buy and build things for him to stand on all around a stove or oven to reach any of the pots and pans that may hang. You have to redesign your commercial kitchen to accommodate this young man. I think he's
So he
looking to have his
shouldn't-
heart broken.
He shouldn't be able to take a class and learn how. Maybe he wants to open his
No,
own
absolutely
business.
not, Sarah. He should not. And I'm not kidding because
Wow.
there's all a bunch of normal-heighted guys, regular people, whatever we are called.
Average height.
And now they have to work around this guy's barriers and things for him to stand on. It just doesn't seem fair to me.
And you started the story by saying discouraged. Did they actually kick him out of the program, or did they say you might be better off pursuing a different line and give him other options?
That's how they started it.
Yeah.
But they said this actually is probably a safety risk and you probably shouldn't take this class. So he then went to the local press in his town. That's when Gordon Ramsay found out and said to tell somebody not to take a college class is ridiculous, that you should be able to learn anything no matter who you are.
I could not agree more. I just think that he has to pay for and build his own ramps and shelves and things like that because it's going to be a hassle for all the other students to work on. I hope this guy gets his all dreams, but there's a million jobs if they went and he wants to be a heart surgeon. Well, now they're going to lay on a thing that you can't, now we have to beat you more stuff. Are you sure you want to be a heart surgeon? Those things that go for your dreams as far as you can, but after a while, take a nice paying job.
Let's take a look at sports.
Sports
brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys. If you're facing a DUI, call 1-800-DUI-AWAY. That's 1-800-DUI-AWAY. It was a tough one for the Mariners yesterday. Felix was beat by a rookie named Nix and the Padres. It was 2-1.
Felix wasn't bad out there. It's just you got to get more than one hit.
Well, he did give up was it a home run that gave him the two, I think?
But if the team had any bats at all in that game, then you're better off. You had one hit the entire game. Happened to be a home run, great.
Right.
But
Is there any version of this conversation where we win at the end?
No, unfortunately
That's
not.
such a drag. I hate it. And now, are we more than 3 games out of first place now?
Well, the Astros and the A's were playing each other. That has a lot to do with the standings. Derek, who won that match last night?
Oakland won last night.
All right, so where are we in the AL West standings?
We are 7 games out of first place, and behind the Athletics, we are, 5.5 games.
So for wild card, are we 5.5 behind the Athletics?
Yes, that is correct.
That's not good.
It's not good.
Running out of games to lose, so Turn it around.
We're going to turn it around.
Turn it around.
Well, they are on the road facing the Padres with a 12:40 start time on Root Sports. If you want to win tickets to an upcoming game, you can call in right now to play in-studio Mariners KZOK music trivia. We're going to play you a song clip. You call right now. Tell us the title, the artist, and the year it came out, and you can win tickets to an upcoming game. Derek, play the clip. Eight 800-252-1025. Call right now. Tell us the artist, the song title, the year it came out, and you'll win tickets to an upcoming Mariners home game. So 12:40 start time. Erasmo Ramirez versus Joey Lucchesi for the Padres. Go Mariners.
Go Mariners.
There is a video circulating between the Chicago Cubs and the New York Mets. A big game. It's a beautiful time of year to be at the ballpark, and there's a guy watching, cheering his team on. Anthony Rizzo hits a foul ball into the stands behind home plate. The guy wearing a Chicago shirt, he catches the ball in his giant beer.
Nice.
Raises it up. The crowd goes wild. He chugs the beer.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, you'd have to, sure.
Even Anthony Rizzo just stood there and watched the whole thing happen. Like gave him a little clap of encouragement.
Nice. I like it.
Yesterday, WNBA action. Sue Bird helped to push the Seattle Storm past the Phoenix Mercury in overtime, 91-87. We now lead that series 2-0. Game 3 will be in Phoenix with a 7 o'clock tip-off.
And best of 5. So if we win game 3, that's it. We're on to the finals.
Correct.
Nice.
Give that man a cookie or something. It's so hot in New York City.
How hot is it?
Well, for the first time in tennis U.S. Open history, the men's matches had to be paused for a 10-minute break because it was over 90 degrees and real feel was 105. They went into the locker room, stripped their clothes off, and took ice baths.
Wow. And they did all that in 10 minutes?
Yep. They said it's so hot, it was too dangerous for them to keep playing without a break.
And how much do they get if they win?
Oh, a whole lot of money.
Play in the heat and shut up. Wear your cute little white shorts and play in the heat. Stop complaining.
Some sad news from the sports world. John Asher, the vice president of racing and communications at Churchill Downs Racetrack, and the guy who does all of the announcing for the Kentucky Derby, died at the age of 62 this week after suffering a heart attack. Let's say congratulations to Dawn in Seattle. She knew Mariners KZOK music trivia. The in-studio version. Derek, play that clip again. Boy, oh boy, was I off by the year on this one.
Yeah, I didn't get it at all.
This is Take It to the Limit from the Eagles.
1977.
Oh, I said 78. It's 75.
I said 93.
Dawn in Seattle knew the answer. She is going to the Jeep winners window in our lobby to pick up tickets to what, Derek?
Dawn won tickets for the game on September 8th at 7:10 p.m. versus the New York Yankees, which just happens to be Salute to
Latin American baseball night.
The Mariners are set to host the New York Yankees for a huge weekend series beginning Friday, September 7th. Watch Giancarlo Stanton and the Yankees slug it out with Nelson Cruz, Mitch Haniger, and the Mariners. And on the 8th, the Mariners honor the many great contributions the Latin Americans have made in baseball and wear special Marineros uniforms.
Woohoo.
Get seats while they last at mariners.com.
All right, your next chance to win will be tomorrow morning right around this same time.
Hey, does the Dominican Republic count as in Latin America? Because they speak Spanish.
It is Latin America.
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
That was the Caribbean. All right. It's attached to Haiti, right?
Yes.
That's Latin America?
It's the Caribbean. They consider themselves Latin America. Yes.
You're just saying words again.
I am not. Why don't you think it's Latin America?
I didn't. I asked if it was.
Yes, it
because
is.
It's
The
in the middle
Dominican
of the
Republic,
Caribbean.
which is where a huge number of our baseball players come
Right.
from. Sports.
Are Haitians Latin Americans?
They are. Why do you think they're not?
Well, it's an island, isn't it?
It's an island, just like Jamaica, but
They're not Latin Americans in Jamaica, are they?
They are not. They're Jamaican.
All right.
Do you want me to call them something else?
No, I just didn't. No, it was a straight up question because they speak Spanish in Latin America because it's not attached to America.
We've got players from Venezuela. We've got players from Aruba.
Are they in Latin Americans?
They consider it Latin America when it comes to baseball.
Huh. I had no idea. Did you know that, Paul?
I didn't know specifically about Aruba, but some of those others I would call Latin America. Yeah.
That's why I asked. All right, thank you.
Sports brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys. 1-800-DUI-AWAY. If you're facing a DUI, call 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Want to remind you guys to join Derek and Tori for happy hour at Duke's Seafood and Chowder in Green Lake tomorrow. They're going to be there from 4 till 6. Duke's was voted best restaurant and best seafood restaurant in 2018. And Derek and Tori going to be giving away a $500 gift card on site.
Right on.
That's amazing. Duke's in Seattle for more than 40 years. And they're setting the standard for sustainable seafood. Join those guys tomorrow, 4 till 6, happy hour.
It is just about 4 minutes after 7, and what I like to do is I like to keep you informed about what's coming up, and what's coming up at 7:30. Rick Jones.
Rick Jones!
In here answering your questions all about divorce, child support, alimony, who gets the house, whatever it is. Save yourself a lot of money. Get the know-how right now. 7:30 this morning, Rick Jones in studio taking your calls.
Yesterday, we were discussing the remake of Big Trouble in Little China. And the guys behind the movie, it's The Rock and this director who are speaking out, are saying it's not technically a remake, that it's going to be in the same vein. It's going to be paying homage. It's going to be in the same universe. But it's such an epic movie that they didn't want to completely remake it because you just can't go there.
All right.
And you said, Danny, you love that movie.
Love it. Absolutely love it. It's one of the things that bonds me and my sister-in-law, too. I don't know too many people that have seen it. And I happened to mention Bass. She goes, oh, my God. And she's too young to have seen it when it came out. She watches that movie, like loves that movie. Your kid loves that movie.
Well, it's something that you were going on and on about. And I was racking my brain. And I was like, I've never seen it.
Oh, you gotta
and
get it.
then after you went on and on and on about how great it is, you said, it's actually a really bad movie.
Yeah.
But you love it.
Yeah, they did not. They weren't trying to make a really good movie. They were trying to make Big Trouble in Little China and succeeded. If you ask me,
funny.
Yeah, you should totally see it. It's unbelievable things happen. Not in a neat way where you go unbelievable. Where it happens, you go, oh, that's ridiculous. That kind of stuff. It's really good. And what's his name? Kurt
Russell.
Russell is just brilliant at not being that brilliant.
I'm going to see if it's on Netflix. I'll watch it.
Yeah, I'll bet it's on Netflix.
And you think it's going to hold up?
Yeah, I think you're gonna love
All
it.
right.
Sit around with Matt. Like, pour a glass of wine or a glass of beer or whatever, and take it for what it is, and you'll love it.
Okay. Well, there are things out there that are pretty bad, but you still love them.
Yeah, corned beef hash out of the can.
Ooh, gross.
One of my favorite things in the whole wide world.
Yeah.
And my grandfather, the Italian guy, barely spoke English, he mixed it up with Alpo. The cans could not look more similar, so it's a big thing in my family that you remember the corned beef hash. But see, the thing with corned beef hash, you don't have to scramble it up like people do and brown the whole thing. You can slice it off in 1-inch panels right out of the can and cook it in discs.
Ew.
And then plop an egg right on top of it. Awesome.
Gross.
You should give me money just for telling me that.
I'll give you money if you just don't ever mention that again.
Oh, man, it's the best.
Alpo and corned beef hash mixed together.
Right, but I only cook one of those.
You eat the Alpo
That's
raw?
exactly right.
Well, you guys listening, what is something you love even though it's bad? Danny loves corned beef hash in a can and Big Trouble in Little China. He says both are bad. What is something you love even though it's bad? Call us now, 800-252-1025 or text.
You know, my coworkers and friends just don't understand the joy of the little horrible things in life, like cooking corned beef hash in little circular discs right out of the can. Just couldn't be better. So the question to you is, what is something that you love, even though you know it's bad? 1-800-252-1025 or text 90627.
When you were describing slicing that right out of the can, the only thing I could think of is the cranberry sauce that you get at Thanksgiving. It's the same thing. It's so bad, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, when I go to somebody's house for Thanksgiving, and I try to avoid that, but if I go to somebody's house for Thanksgiving and they say, oh, this is grandma's special homemade cranberry sauce, I say, grandma's going to die fairly soon. Can for 79 cents.
Give me a slice of the can stuff.
Yeah.
We are asking you at 800-252-1025, what is something you love even though it's bad? Let's talk to Potato Chip in Seattle.
No,
Hello,
potato
Potato
chip
Chip.
is the name or the thing that he loves, even though it's bad.
Think
Don't
his
know.
name.
Is your
Or
name
name?
Potato Chip?
Cleveland Browns.
Wait,
I really like the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for them.
Well, hey, you know what? I have money on them,
That's
buddy.
right, you
So
do.
Me and Potato Chip. He's such a dip. Wait, no, that'll work. But yeah, me and Potato Chip love me some Browns.
I told you, I think they're going to win 5 games this year.
I told you they're going to win at least one game and get me another 50 trillion Zimbabwean dollars.
Rob in Louisville, what is something you love even though it's bad?
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
I love vodka and apple juice. I call it an apple teeny.
Ew.
Well, I hate to blow your mud flaps up or whatever you got going, but isn't that a thing? The appletini, isn't it a drink?
Yes, but it's not made with apple juice.
No, it's made with apple flavored yuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you pour vodka. Here's what you have to say to me, and I get to have it and don't get divorced or go to jail. So I take some vodka and I mix it with a bunch of leukemia. I'm still drinking it. That's all there is to
oh
it.
my gosh.
You've never tasted absolute leukemia?
What is something you love even though it's bad? Let's talk to Mike on McCord Air Force Base.
Hi, I'm Mike.
Hey, love you guys.
Thank you very much. What do you got?
Hey, I love Louisiana red beans and rice. That is, I will kill you if you touch my red beans and rice.
Like from the box.
First of all, I'd like to point out that Mike and I can now be friends because he's threatened to kill somebody over a snack.
Yes.
That's how you know it's going to be a buddy. But who thinks that red bean? The premise is, what do you love even though it's bad?
Yeah, there's nothing bad.
There's nothing
red
bad
beans
about
and
red.
rice.
Everybody
Think
likes red beans and
He's
rice.
talking about the stuff from, it's like basically rice-a-roni. It's in a-
Zatarans right
Okay,
out of the
whoa.
box. Also
it's
delicious.
basically rice-a-roni?
Yeah. Fantastic.
Rice-a-roni?
It's pretty gross.
One of the greatest
it's
things
a San
in the world.
Francisco treat. What's wrong with you?
Something
I
you
totally
love.
just yelled in Rick Jones' ear. It's really loud, but it had to be done.
Something you love even though it's bad. Let's hear from Leah in Bonnie Lake.
Hi, Leah.
Hi, guys.
What's up?
I love the movie Zombie Strippers with Jenna Jameson and Robert Englund, the guy who played
Freddy Krueger. Yeah. I got to tell you, you got me there. I love this. This all seems bad, but I can imagine seeing it and going, oh, that's great. Remember Death by Killer Tomatoes or whatever? Invasion of the Killer Tomatoes?
Yes.
Remember that?
Yeah.
It was great, man.
Something I love even though it's bad. All the shows on the CW.
Right.
The vampire
originals.
shows and
Yep.
all those.
Vampire Diaries, they're all made for, 17-year-old girls. I love them all, and they're bad. It's just glorified soap operas. What about George calling from Snoqualmie?
Hey, George.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Oh, good.
So, that mystery meat and Jack in the Box tacos. What is up with that? I just can't not eat those things.
It's a mystery, my friend, but you're not alone. That's a thing. That's absolutely the meat in the Jack in the Box tacos. All right, speaking with food. So I had cooking corned beef hash directly out of the can in disc, which is bitchin'. I should bring it into you guys. This is, on the flip side of that, even though it's bad, I love foie gras. Yet there are states where foie gras is illegal, and people hate you for doing it. Have you ever tasted foie gras? You would club a goose to death to get some of that thing.
That's what they do.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what they
Force
do.
feed it. Blair and Lake Stevens, what is something you love even though it's bad?
Good morning, you all.
Morning.
I don't get me wrong. This has nothing to do with Sarah, even though she reports it. But I hate supporting the news, going to their websites, clicking on everything because they just report what they want to get all the clicks and the views, and it's mostly negative and about murders and killing and
Are you
politics and Trump.
38 years old?
Not quite. No,
Younger or older?
younger.
See, because when you say I hate watching the news, the word click was not in my register at all. You don't watch news, you change the channels. Who clicks? But then that's the way people, Sarah gets a lot of the news off the internet. So, but no matter how you watch it, buddy, you're right. It's often bad.
Brian in Woodinville, what is something you love even though it's bad?
So I got two things. One that I heard on the radio yesterday morning was General Booty. I was wondering
Yeah, I remember
Football
General
player,
Booty.
General Booty.
does he go by Jen for short? I don't know.
I didn't even think of that.
And what
And
was
then
the other
one?
guy?
The other one is
Steel
I used to be
Fortress.
kind of a beer connoisseur,
Yeah.
but now I'm more of a Rainier guy.
Rainier Beer, is that your thing?
Rainier and Olympia.
It's pretty
the
bad.
cheap tall boys. But
Yeah.
they're so good.
It's
Which
not.
one of
It's
them
not
is
good.
from the land of sky blue water?
Hams?
That's
Is that hams? Is that good?
No.
It's not as good.
All right, so even Brian has his limits on this. Thanks, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's something about a nice, cold, rainy air in the summertime, but it's not good. It's not good beer. Let's be honest. Jennifer and Kirkland, what do you think?
Canned cream corn.
Yum.
Every
Yum.
Thanksgiving.
Yum.
It's pretty gross.
I don't know what your mean, horrible parents have to
right
get.
up there
The
with the
one
canned
day of the
crackers.
year you should not have your cream corn out of a can, maybe, is Thanksgiving. But having said that, that's only because Granny wants to work really hard over the corn. The cream corn, craft cream corn is possibly one of the all-time great things.
Jennifer, you still eat that now?
No.
She's
Yeah, she
lying.
does.
She's so lying.
We should get together.
That's really nice.
I will cook the corned beef hash discs, and she can cook the cream corn, and we will have a buffet.
Gosh.
Be bitching.
Speaking of buffet, somebody texted into 90627, any buffet. It's terrible, but we love it. Also, circus bananas. They say they're like crack. Those are those orange.
they're circus peanuts.
Circus peanuts. Yeah,
So
I don't know,
good,
circus
yeah, yeah.
bananas,
I love
but
those.
Circus peanuts. Yeah,
They're
then what-
so gross.
they're so gross. But yeah, how you can't stop eating them.
What is it? Golden Corral, where they have the chocolate fountain that nasty-looking people kind of dip their fingers into, and don't tell me they don't. They pretend they're
And by
dipping in a
nasty
cup.
people, you mean you.
Yes, so when their cup comes out, the tips of their fingers are all
Ew.
like brown or white, depending on what kind of chocolate
Yeah.
they went for.
A surprising amount of Browns fans on our text line right now, too. Everybody just cheering for
It's
the Browns.
surprising
Nice.
that there are a lot of Browns fans,
Yeah.
period.
Rick Jones, do you know who the quarterback is for the Browns this season?
Well, it depends on who's going to start.
It depends on who's going to start, is that what you said?
Yeah, there's the issue of Baker Mayfield.
Right.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
The kid. All right. I tell him 5 games. Mark my words.
Notice how you could just lean forward and ask Rick Jones that thing, because he's a sponsor and a friend. You wouldn't want to make him look foolish. There's no one else in this room you could ask that question and have him go, oh, here's the answer that you can look for, young one. But Rick Jones, so you wonder why I think you should do sports? That's why.
Well, then answer Rick Jones. Is it Tyrod Taylor or Tyrod Taylor? Because that's been the current controversy. You know?
It's Tyrod.
Tyrod.
Yeah, it's
that's right.
Tyrod.
Told with a lie.
He says his mom calls him Tyrod, but it is Tyrod. So apparently his mom gets it wrong.
John and Lake Stevens, what is something you love even though it's bad?
Boondock Saints 1 and 2.
Oh, greatest movie of all. Sorry, one of the greatest films of all time.
Fantastic movie, really.
See, now I tried to watch some. I couldn't get through it, and then I think I mentioned it, and you said I was crazy, and I haven't seen the opportunity to watch it again. But if Johnson can say 1 and 2 and get a pretty good reaction from you guys, I may have to check this movie out.
It's pretty great. Not 2.
What's
but
it about?
Number 1. It's about a pair of brothers who go around killing like mobsters and stuff. Spoiler alert.
Sounds like my cup of tea.
Yeah,
It does.
bad guys killing even worse guys.
Worst guys,
Yeah.
right?
Alan Tacoma, something you love even though it's bad?
Well, this is going to sound sacrilegious, and I know you all love it too, but barbecue with all the fat and salt, as good as it is, it's not on anybody's health food list.
No.
No, but did you not hear me just say I would love a tall glass of vodka and leukemia? So you're going to have a couple of trans fats going on in your yummy ribs. I'm still eating them.
Paul, something you love even though it's bad?
Nicolas Cage. That guy has never made a good movie, but I'll watch every single one of them. He's a terrible actor, and I will watch every Nick
There
Cage
is,
movie.
believe it or not, and I know very little about this. There's now a style of acting that people teach and or anti-teach, saying don't do this, depending on what school you go. It's called the cage something, and I think it's
believe
just for being over the top ridiculous.
Good answer. Tori, what is something you love even though it's bad?
Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, the movie with Peter Frampton and the Bee Gees.
Oh my goodness.
And Alice
It's bad.
Cooper.
That was terrible.
bad.
It's fabulous. I love it.
Thanks for all the calls and texts. It is now time to play the game that is sweeping the nation. Put up your dukes.
Put up your dukes.
You can win a pair of tickets to Battle at the Boat 117 next Saturday night at the Emerald Queen Casino. If you want to play, win these tickets. Call us right now, 800-252-1025. 102.5 KZOK, where we are playing Put Up Your Dukes for your chance to win a pair of tickets to Battle at the Boat 117 next Saturday night at the Emerald Queen Casino. Now, we know Danny would fight any cast member from the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
Danny would fight a juiced-up baseball player.
Totally.
He'd fight Screech.
Yeah.
He'd fight Dennis Rodman.
And he'd knock them all out.
Uh-huh.
Well, actually, I actually fought 2 of those guys.
And
I
you didn't
knocked
knock them out?
No, I knocked out Greg Brady.
Yeah, and this time, if you fought him again, you'd
Dennis
certainly-
Rodman did not get knocked out. He hit me with a chair, the bastard.
In order to win this contest, you are going to have to tell us who Danny is challenging this time to put up their dukes.
Yeah.
Our contestant is Michael in Mount Vernon.
Hey, Michael, this right out of the bat, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
I sure do.
All right, how about do you understand the rules of the game?
Yes, I do.
All right, then here we go, sir. Listen carefully. Let me make it abundantly clear that I do not want to fight David Bowie. If I did, however, it wouldn't be Ziggy Stardust or Major Tom or the Goblin King, but this Bowie persona. He began to adopt the character during the Young Americans tour in 1975, but it's primarily identified with his 1976 album, Station to Station, and it is mentioned by name in the title track. Can you tell us which one of David Bowie's alter egos do I want to put up his dukes?
Oh, my God. I'm drawing a complete blank.
Really? You have a 900-word clue.
Any guesses, Michael? Michael?
No, I'm out.
All right. Sorry,
I'm
honey.
sorry to hear that, buddy.
Rob and Ording, do you know the answer, or do you want Danny to read that clue to you again?
Yeah, read me the clue again.
jeez.
I just woke up. Jesus.
All right, here we go. Rob, are you
You
awake?
just woke him up.
Are you awake?
I'm awake now.
All right. Give yourself a little smack in the face so I can hear
There
it.
you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, nice job,
That
bro.
was a nice job. Thank you very much for paying
Take it
attention.
easy on
All right,
yourself, Rob.
here we go. Let me make this abundantly clear. I don't want to fight David Bowie. If I did, however, it wouldn't be Ziggy Stardust, the Major Tom, or the Goblin King, but this Bowie persona. He began to adopt this character during the Young American tour in 1975, but he's primarily identified with his 1976 album, Station to Station, and is mentioned by name in the title track. Can you tell me which David Bowie alter ego I want to put up his dukes?
I'm still asleep.
Oh, my goodness, Rob.
Don't worry about it. You can say asleep on the radio. Don't be crazy. All right, so I'm out. I said 2.
Yep. Let's find out if Dave and Lake Stevens knows the answer.
Dave and Lake Stephen, please know the answer.
Oh,
Dave hung up.
nope. What about Susan in Seattle? Susan, do you know the answer?
Well, this is probably totally off, but Major Tom.
No.
Yeah, you know what makes
Susan,
that off?
I'm
The part
sorry.
where I say it's not Major Tom.
You
Duke.
specifically
So
say.
somebody we want to put up their dukes. Vinny, our friend in Renton.
Vinny's got it. Vinny
Come on,
has
Vinny.
it. Go, Vinny.
Good morning, you people.
What do you mean, you
Hey,
people?
people.
What's the answer?
I love y'all. Well, I would say I got it right. The Thin White Duke.
All right.
Yeah, Thin White Duke is absolutely correct.
The Thin White Duke. Vinny's won himself a pair of tickets to Battle at the Boat 117.
And the phones are lighting up right now with all the people who have the right answer. Now.
Of course. So Battle at the Boat 117 is next Saturday night at the Emerald Queen Casino. Vinny is going to the Jeep Winners window in our lobby to pick up his tickets. You guys can buy them now at emeraldqueen.com. Now, we'll give you another chance to win tomorrow at 7:20, but next, Rick Jones.
Rick Jones is sitting right next to me. He's been very kind, got here bright and early, and he is waiting to give you all sorts of advice. Well, not even advice when it's coming from your lawyer. I don't know if it's considered advice or just things you should do immediately so they don't take your house. That's what I do. If you want to know what's going to happen in your divorce, upcoming divorce, separation, alimony, whatever it is, you should call us right now at 1-800-252-1025 and talk to Rick Jones. All right, let me tell you how this is going to work with Danny Bonaduce, life coach, with special guest Rick Jones. And that is, there's a couple of calls on the line right now, and then there's a few lines that are open. If you wait, those lines are going to be filled. You should call 1-800-252-1025 to talk to Rick Jones. Or, by the way, we will, in fact, take your questions by text, 90627. Hi, Rick Jones.
Good morning, Danny.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm wide awake.
You seem wide awake this
Yeah,
morning. Although
yeah.
you seem wide awake almost every day, but especially today. Why don't we start off with Mammoth, who's been waiting as a very interesting phone call. Mammoth, you with me?
Yes, I am.
All right, what do you got for Rick Jones?
Good morning, Rick. Thanks for taking your time to come in and answer everyone's questions.
You're very welcome.
I'm a divorced father of a preteen paying child support. And like many people, I put off writing my will. I just heard that if I die tomorrow, my ex can sue my estate for everything in the name of supporting my child. the last thing I want is for my ex to have complete control of everything that I've worked so hard for all of my life.
Boy, am I with you, buddy.
Is this true?
Mm-hmm.
Is it true?
Well, there's some specifics I don't know in terms of how the laws of intestacy work. So the key definitely is to have a will so that you can be the one that's directing, as opposed to the state doing it automatically, which is what that word intestacy is. It's like when you die without a will.
That's the thing you do know that we didn't know was that word and its meaning. I certainly didn't.
Well, it's a dangerous word sometimes too, right?
I thought you were saying intestines, and I couldn't figure out what the hell we were going on about. But all right, I got it now.
No, but like I said, the key is to make sure that you have a will so that you are directing. Now, you do currently have a child support obligation. But at the same time, if you die without a will, there's very specific ways in terms of how it operates. Now, your ex doesn't have any rights in and of herself.
Right.
However, your child certainly is the beneficiary in the absence of that if you don't have any other children, et cetera. So the real key is you don't want to end up with her being sort of the trustee, if you will.
Right, and that's what will happen because legally all the stuff's going to go to the kids, but she's under 18. She won't get that money. It'll go to mom, and mom can dish it out. And I'm down with Mammoth. The last thing he wants, he's worked his whole life, and she's got it again. So make a will. How hard is that to make a will?
And again, I'm stepping outside of my expertise, but at the same time, it seems like this is something that's really just ripe for setting up a trust.
Right.
So in other words, you devise, if in fact you perish, you devise your wealth to a trust for the benefit of, and you can name a trustee as well.
Right. Cool. Hey, it's 1-800-252-1025. You want to talk to Rick Jones, or you can text us at 90627.
Rick Jones in studio taking all your calls. It's free legal advice. Call right now to talk with Rick. 800-252-1025. John in Tacoma is our next caller.
Hey, John.
Hey, how you doing?
We're all good. You got anything for Rick Jones?
I do, Rick. I have custody of kids from New York. I got them in 2015, and they're all higher age, 16, 13, and 10. And I'm dropping paperwork right now in Pierce County for a modification of custody to get her supervised visits. Now, what kind of things can I use text messages and emails that she sent, like hostile stuff, as emotional abuse? Is that something that I can use?
Well, you can absolutely use communications because those have no expectation of privacy. So absolutely, the key is you're going to need to demonstrate that there's been some sort of a substantial change in circumstance. So not just the regular, a change in circumstance that's resulting in existing harm to the children. So the key is it's going to have to be something that shocks the conscience a little bit of the court, especially if you're looking to cut off visitation. So the dots that you need to connect, just to repeat this again, the dots that you need to connect is how to demonstrate that there's harm happening to these kids.
Great. And I'm guessing that some of her text and mail will show that. He didn't bring that up for nothing. And can I tell you from personal experience, never threaten to kill anybody in writing. That's just stupid.
800-252-1025. Call that number now if you would like to speak with Rick Jones of Goldberg Jones. He is in studio right now taking all your questions. Divorce, child custody, legal family matters. He is here to talk to you for free right now. 800-252-1025. Tammy in Snohomish, you're on with Rick.
Hi, Rick.
Hey, Tammy.
Hey, I've got a question about post-secondary education.
All right.
We had an agreement that everybody paid a third. My daughter's in her third year of community college, and she's taking one course at a time. I have a set amount where I have to pay her a certain amount every month, but I seem to be the only one that's contributing to her education plus some because we exceed paying the cost of the actual one class she takes per quarter.
Right.
And what do I do?
Well, was this agreement part of the divorce decree? Is it in your child support order that it's a requirement that each of you have?
It's in the child support, yes.
Okay. Well, if it just says 1/3 of the cost rather than a flat dollar amount, then you're in position of asking your daughter. It's like, show me the invoice, show me the cost, and I will pay 1/3 of that, rather than just simply forking over what it sounds like you're doing, which is 1/3 of the cost of a normal quarter or semester tuition. Are you following?
It's a flat rate.
Okay,
it's a flat rate every month.
So the agreement was a flat rate every month.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which it should be. It's interpreted. I mean, if you interpret it, it's a third.
Got it.
Should be
So it
a
was
third.
intended as a third, but nobody thought that she'd be slow playing this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure they did, but not me.
Sure. Well, the other thing is you can go back to court and say, hey, nobody expected this. This was not the intent of the parties. The reality is I was only supposed to pay a third. Now I'm paying more than 100%. So that certainly seems ripe for something to go back to court on.
You know, and that's the thing that I didn't know that these things were malleable, that my ex-wife could just because she would say to me in every argument, well, I'm going to take you right back to court to settle that. And I thought she couldn't. And turns out she could. Child support is always, you can change that all the way till they're 18. Don't call me anymore.
We have a thank you text in for Rick into 90627. It says, I called in a few months back regarding my husband withholding my mail and emotionally abusing me. Thank you for guiding me. The divorce is now finalized, and my daughter and I are safe and free.
Awesome.
Right. Look at Rick Jones go.
Yeah.
What a great way to start the morning.
Yeah.
Rick Jones of Goldberg Jones in studio. 1-800-DIVORCE is his number, but he's talking to you in studio right now at 800-252-1025. Brandon in Puyallup is next.
What up, Brandon?
How's it going?
It's all good. What do you got for Rick Jones?
Well, I got a question about grandparent rights. Basically, for the last year, I have been financially caring for and physically caring for my granddaughter. Now, my daughter and her soon-to-be ex-husband were living with us up until about 2 months ago. She moved back to where she's from and kind of just wants to party. And he lives in the same town as my wife and I do, but he is not wanting to be a full-time parent. So we're trying to figure out what to do or what rights we have as grandparents as far as making sure that this little girl has the best life she could possibly have.
Sure. And we do hear that a lot. There's a bad news, good news on this. The bad news is there's really no defined level of grandparents' rights. So you don't automatically stand in a stead with legal rights.
I was shocked when you first told me that years ago. When you first told me that, I couldn't believe that. But no, it's a fact.
And that was a change because prior to it's been, time flies, but I think it was 10, 12 years ago, then that changed fairly dramatically, and it started here in Washington. But the good news is there's now kind of inroads being made back in to bring what's called a third-party or non-parent custody action. So again, it doesn't have that title grandparent on it, but when you bring the facts to the court, they get it. They understand that you've got a lifelong history with these kids. They also understand when you provide the information to them about the financial support. Now, that being said, a third party, grandparent or not, is always going to be behind, if you will, the biological parent. The courts are always going to favor the biological parent if it's even reasonably safe for the children to be there, and sometimes even not.
Sam? I'm sorry.
Are these two, are the father and mother going to dispute your claim to custody?
See, I don't know because right now my daughter is back in where she's in another state. She wants to keep her full time, but the father does not want to let her go there.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want to be a full time dad. He we basically right now she lives with us, and he'll come and see her a day a week.
Yeah, there's a lot to know, and you're talking about something that has a lot of complexities. Give our office a call, and we can spend 10, 15 minutes, rapping about this because there are a lot of details. And I want everybody to hear this as well. When you bring an action that basically is an action against your biology as well, so it's against your daughter and your son-in-law, it really can rip the family apart as well. So those things shouldn't be taken lightly.
We've got time for more calls. This is Sam in Puyallup.
Hey, Sam.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Hey, my son is getting a divorce. His soon-to-be ex is living with a previous registered sex offender. He no longer has to register. And I'm just wondering if he has any way that he can not allow his son to be in that home with her.
Have they started the divorce yet?
No, they haven't.
Okay. Well, right now there are no rules in place. So in essence, he can do the self-help and just simply say, hey, this isn't happening. Now, that being said, she's in a position to defy him as well. So there are no rules. What he really needs to do is to ultimately bring a court action and make sure that this fact, this piece of the puzzle, is in front of the decision maker or the guardian ad litem, depending on how they do their custody case.
And is that a gimme? one of the parties is a convicted sexual offender, does that guy lose no matter what?
In our world, there is no just blanket yes or no.
So, Your Honor, he did real bad things to an underage person. That guy goes, let me take other things into effect.
Yeah.
Man, who knew?
Stan calling from Kent. You are on with Rick Jones of Goldberg Jones, 1-800-DIVORCE.
Hey, Stan.
How you doing?
All good. What do you got for Rick Jones?
I tell you what, I've been married for 31 years and just recently took a new job and had to bring my marriage license in to get my insurance good for my wife.
Right.
Well, come to find out, all we had was a decorative copy. The minister never sent the paperwork into the state. And so I guess we're officially not married, which, I'm getting up there. How do I get that, distinction of being married again?
I've been involved in a lot of divorces, but I haven't really gotten two people married before.
Well, you know what? You haven't watched enough sitcoms because they do this all the time. This is the plot of My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2. The mom and dad find out they're not married. I didn't know what happened in real life.
And now I'm wondering if I'm married. Like, how do you even know?
Well, don't you normally go to the courthouse yourself with the paperwork and don't rely on somebody else to take it in?
Yeah.
That's what we did. Get the marriage license.
I've been married more times than all of you put together.
And you did no paperwork.
Never.
Never once.
And I'm guessing he's not going to have a problem because you can reverse engineer this. And from what we see as divorce attorneys, what he can't do is to come in and say, aha, look, this 31-year marriage didn't happen because we don't have the documents behind it. Because the reality is they lived together as married with every expectation and entitlement of being married. So he's not going to have a problem, but he does need to get on the phone with, I'd probably start with the state.
And it's all, what did I learn from Rick Jones Day today? You can't rest on your laurels in Kent because there is no common law marriage in Kent. Specifically Kent, I don't know why. But no, Washington, we don't have it, right?
We don't.
So you got to get down there to the courthouse and make the phone calls that Rick is telling you to make. But I'm sorry, it's a funny situation, but it is.
Brian in Spanaway is next caller on with Rick Jones of Goldberg Jones, 1-800-DIVORCE.
What up, Brian?
Oh, just a couple questions. Danny, I watch you, listen to you every morning, man.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. What do you got for our guest, Rick Jones?
I've got my 13-year-old boy in the custody or the guardianship of my niece, Ashley. She is not allowing me to see him because she's exploiting money out of my father's bank account. She has no respect. She's rude. She has 2 kids of her own. They're on prescription drugs, and my son is not allowed to see me suddenly anymore because she was helping take care of my mom before she died. She was asked to leave when Mom was in heaven, and she just has the attitude of just an ungrateful person, man. She won't let me see Marcus. I don't know. My dad's just about ready to just go follow my mom, and there's.
Boy, this sounds tough all over. You have a grasp on this one, Rick Jones?
Yeah, it sounds like there's a formal guardianship that has already happened. Am I correct on that?
She got the guardianship.
Okay. Well, I mean, the guardianship simply recognizes that she's the boss. Let's simplify it.
Right.
But ordinarily, there would also be, though, some inclusion, just like a parenting plan in a divorce situation. Are you granted any of that you know of?
No, I haven't. Because me and the baby's mother are just now on actually good talking terms because we were in love for 12 years and we just hate each other.
Yeah,
that'll happen.
Well, you definitely need to get an attorney to address the issues of guardianship because it's a very, very specific area of law. So look up guardianship attorney and make that call.
All right. Now, good luck on that, Brian.
Rob in Kent, you are on with Rick Jones of Goldberg Jones, 1-800-DIVORCE.
Hey, Rob in Kent, by the way, no common law marriage in Kent. All right, what do you got for us?
Good morning, Danny, my brother.
What's happening?
Hey, good morning, Mr. Jones.
Good morning
I got a
to
quick
you.
one for you here. My wife and I have been married for about 12 years, and when I first met her, we lived in a house that she legally owned. It burned to the ground, so with the insurance money, her and I were purchasing a second house that we currently live in. My wife's kind of gone down a dark road and has blamed me for everything and pretty much kicked me out of my house saying this is her house, this is her inheritance, just kind of going, cuckoo. So my question is, legally, is it legal what she did to kick me out of a house that I'm also part owner of, which my name is on, because she threatens if I come back, she's going to get the police involved and the whole 9 yards. Luckily, we have no kids between 2 of us, which is nice.
Yeah.
And so if that is the case, what are my legal grounds as far as the house goes? Am I able to say, hey, well, fine, then you owe me half the equity and buy me out of the house? Do I tell her she needs to sell the house because that's primarily where her and my grandson live? I'm just kind of like,
Sure.
What do I do here?
And I do hear a couple of questions in there, just like you said right up front. The first one is, can she do that?
Right.
And this goes back to what we talked about a couple of calls ago, which is self-help, right? She said, get out, and you did?
Let's put it away. If I was threatened that if I didn't get out, she would have some people come more than happily help
So
me
the
out.
question was, she said to leave, and you did. And I take it, under whatever circumstances, you did.
Yeah.
And that being said, it is sort of a tennis match. I get where he's coming from, too, because the next thing she may have done if he said, to heck with that, I'm staying right here, is she may make a call to the police and say, oh, he's now threatened me.
Right.
So there's... several ways to address that issue, but I just wanted to talk to that first point. Your second point has to do with characterization of the property.
Right.
Now, the fact that the home was owned apparently outright by her, or at least all of the equity in the prior home was hers as separate property, then the insurance money is going to be considered separate property as well. Now, after time, though, and as many things as you do with this money, it's possible that it gets a little bit convoluted. So it's up to her to try and trace it back, demonstrate to the court that it started as her separate in one house, turned into separate in another house. Now, you've been paying a mortgage on this new home, I assume, as well. So the key really is for you to do the opposite of that, is to trace it to community funds based on your guys' income during the pendency of your marriage.
Did you follow that? Because I followed that. It sounded so important. I thought, really focus on this. But no, I think that's, it'd be weird for me to say, no, I don't think Rick's right. But Rick, that's, I was all wrong on that custody chain of how that house thing went. So thanks for clarifying that for me and Rob and Kent.
All right, we've got time for one more call. It is Tim in Port Orchard.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great. You got something for Rick Jones?
Yes, I do. My girlfriend and her soon-to-be ex are having a little custody deal, and he's actually kind of turned the child against her mother, and they're living in the same house, and he's not letting her do anything with her. Won't let her take her anywhere, won't let her do anything.
All right, she doesn't live. His soon-to-be ex-wife doesn't live with him. She lives with you. The kids live with him, right?
No, she still lives in the house.
That's what I was hoping would not happen.
Yeah, so they're living together as a married couple, correct?
Yeah.
And
still, yeah.
Yeah, and what's going on is somewhat of a dysfunctional relationship where he's presumably poisoning the kids against her.
Yeah,
Okay.
and now he's...
How old are the kids?
He's got severe PTSD.
Yeah.
How old are the kids, man? All right,
I think Tim has got some phone issues.
But by the way, it's 7:55. As great as a lawyer as Rick Jones is, I don't think he's got time to tell you how bad that situation is. Is that a terrible situation?
It sounds like a situation you need to get out of. There's not an
Yeah.
answer that I can give other than get out of that situation. And the other thing it's important for people to hear is that the kids don't decide the custody issue. So the fact that he believes they're being poisoned, well, that's where adults get to come in and make decisions on that.
You know what he doesn't believe? He doesn't believe that his girlfriend is currently sleeping with her current husband. All of that's bad. You need to get out. The best part of this morning, ladies and gentlemen, Rick Jones.
Rick Jones.
Thank you very much for coming in, as always. Hey, sailor, looking for a good time? Oh, I don't think that came out exactly as I wanted. I've got this.
It sounded like you'd done it before, though.
More once or twice. Anyway, we got a music festival coming up. It's September 21st and 22nd. It's happening in Las Vegas.
Vegas, baby!
She's right. Vegas, baby.
I'm never talking to you again. Anyway, it's happening in Vegas, and there's going to be all sorts of bands and acts that you totally want to see. And we would like to send you there free of charge, including hotel and airfare forward to your next chance to win and text. That comes up in less than 10 minutes, so be here for that.
There's an unlikely partnership for Habitat for Humanity. David Letterman got together with Jimmy Carter to build houses.
Yeah, because one of them looks like a really old man, and the other one used to be president.
Now, Jimmy Carter started Habitat for Humanity, and it has been going gangbusters. And he does so much good, and he just seems like such a nice man.
He does.
So I don't know anyone who wouldn't want to partner with Jimmy Carter to build houses. There's nothing bad about it.
I wouldn't.
Just because you wouldn't want to build houses.
No, he's 100 now. This was a great idea to build houses with him 20 years ago. Now it's like, could you hand me a nail? No, I cannot hand you a nail. The house is done there, Mr. Ex-President.
We are putting Jimmy Carter in your box.
All right. Asking for hardware.
Like, I was thinking that partnership is a little unlikely, but who wouldn't partner other than Danny with Jimmy Carter? Now, I don't know that I would want to partner necessarily with David Letterman to do good.
Right.
But if you could pick anybody, it doesn't have to be building houses for Habitat for Humanity. It would just be doing good.
I would like to partner up for all things possible with Bill Nye the Science Guy. Can you think of any project he couldn't make better? Oh, I'd like to build this house for humanity or whatever good reasons there, Bill Nye the Science Guy. Well, that's great. You do this and here are the floor plans. Blah, blah. Now I'd like to make alcohol out of that guava. Well, you do this and you do that. So now we have a house and booze. All because I teamed up with Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, it does.
And he'd probably love to partner with you.
I'm pretty sure he would.
You guys will partner for good instead of partnering for evil.
Yes. You might do a little evil, too. I mean, if you have time.
You don't know that guy like I know that guy. You could probably talk him into evil.
Yeah, we don't know what you're going to do with that guava.
He's been on both of my talk shows and 2 of my radio shows, so I actually know him reasonably well. And he said, if you're ever in trouble for a guest and you need a guy that's going to come in and say stuff that people want to hear, Bill Nye the Science Guy's your answer.
Well, who would you like to partner with to do good? Let us know by calling 800-252-1025 or text in 90627 now.
All right, so David Letterman teamed up with Jimmy Carter to do good. I've teamed up with Bill Nye the Science Guy to do good. Who would you partner up with to do good? Here's the phone number, 1-800-252-1025, or text 90627.
Good morning to Diana in Lake Stevens.
Hey, Diana.
Hi.
Hey.
I would team up with Lake Stevens' own Chris Pratt.
Well, I have to ask this question. All we know is the guy can't really wrestle for crap because Paul pinned him every time. Why particularly Chris Pratt? Is it just so you can get up next to Chris Pratt?
No. Chris Pratt is an incredibly decent man. I mean, the fact that he cares enough about this little town, this little community, to donate the money to build a community center, the Boys and Girls Club Center, dedicated it to his late father. I mean, he's a decent man.
Can I tell you what I hear? I hear 2 words. Guilty conscience. That's what I hear.
It is pretty hard to growl at that guy.
It is. He's a great guy.
He helps a lot of sick kids, too. I might even team up with him and have like a charity wrestling match where I whoop on him again.
Because that's why he used to have it. He used to whoop on him.
Yeah.
That's a great idea, Paul. We'll set that up.
A charity wrestling.
A charity wrestle with Lake Stevens' own Chris Pratt. Thanks for the
Both
call.
of Lake Stevens' treasures.
Yeah.
Paul the Butcher and
Chris
Diana.
Pratt.
Diana, she can be there too.
Lake Stevens' treasure. She can be, what do you call the person, like the referee at a wrestling match?
You call it referee.
Referee?
Yeah.
And if it was umpire.
I'm wearing their shirt right now.
You are.
Kind of.
We are asking, who would you partner with to do good at 800-252-1025? Good morning to Albert in Bellevue.
Hi, Albert.
Morning, crew. How's everybody doing this morning?
All good. Thank you for asking. So who are you teaming up with?
Man, I would team up with Warren Buffett and see if we can build some low-income housing in Seattle since how the rents are so crazy these days.
I thought for sure Albert was partnering with Warren Buffett to do good for his bank account.
No, well, being best buddies and house builders with Warren Buffett, you probably get a little change out of that. But that is a completely selfless one.
Yes.
I mean, he just wants revenge on Chris Pratt.
Albert is selfless, building houses for those less fortunate.
I want Bill Nye to make me booze so I don't have to pay the tax on it.
Let's talk to Dave in Federal Way.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, how are you?
Very, very well, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing good. I would team up with Danny Bonaduce.
And why am I so lucky as to get you and me? What are we doing?
Well, we'd build tiny houses together. I'd build them and you could model them.
I'd wear them.
I think he's saying that you're small in stature.
Oh, I didn't even get it.
You would go inside the tiny house.
I have been in many a tiny house.
Yeah.
2 stories.
Really?
Yeah, often. It's a loft for the beds. They can use the
That's
whole first floor. Crazy.
Let's talk to our friend Joe in Lake Stevens.
Hey, Joe, what's up?
Hey, happy hump day. What's up?
What's up? Hi,
Oh,
Joe.
Sarah, that was good.
Thank you.
So I would so love to team up with our illustrious quarterback, Russell Wilson, when he makes his visits to Children's Hospital to just cheer up the kids.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That would be fun.
I need for that.
You know, it's one of the things you got to love about Russell Wilson. No matter what kind of season he's having, or even if it's the off season, he goes to the Children's Hospital all the time.
That's one of the things, though, about Joe from Lake Stevens. Because, initially you could think, well, there's a terrible person. And then you get to know him a little better, and he's building houses with Russell Wilson, go to the hospital with Russell Wilson. Joe's trying to disguise that he's really a nice person underneath it all.
See, I want to do something similar to Joe with Lake Stevens. For doing good, I want to partner with Nelson Cruz, and we're going to go to the Dominican Republic, and I'm going to help him build houses there because he always gives back to the DR.
Nice.
So I'm going to hang out with Nelly because he's got nice eyes.
That's what you sounded so like you cared about stuff for a second.
No, I don't mean that like a romantic, sexy way. He just has such a kind face.
Oh, kind eyes is what you meant.
He's got some nice
kind
eyes. We've
And
got some
really kind nards too.
Danny!
They're sweet.
We have
Not
some-
as in that flavor. That's crazy.
Text into 90627. Diane in 5 says she would partner with Sarah McLaughlin to start a dog rescue, which would be very sad.
And then we just cry
Watch
all
that
the time.
commercial. Yo says she would partner with Betty White to support the Morris Animal Foundation because she loves animals and Betty White.
Well, that's a good one too, because
yeah.
Betty White is involved with animal rescue and stuff like that.
And somebody texted in and says they would team up with Sarah for the cause of drinking all the beer.
Yeah, it's a fine cause
Really
too,
know
if you ask me.
I'm doing
That's
pretty
helping
well.
people.
Yeah. Good morning, Dave in Federal Way.
Another one?
Yeah, second.
Dave from Guam, guys. There's
Apparently-
another Dave from Federal Way. How dare you?
How dare you?
We waited when we talked to Dave in Federal Way. We waited for the big line, and it never happened.
I was waiting at first for the Hoppa Dave from Guam guys,
Yeah.
and then when it didn't come, and the guy kept talking, Dave from Federal Way kept
Yeah.
talking. I thought at some point he'd then hand the phone.
That's what
to
I
the
thought
guy.
too.
Didn't
Yeah.
you think that Hoppa Dave was standing there?
Dave, do it again. We didn't hear you.
Hoppa Dave from Guam, guys. Another David from Federal Way. How dare you?
How dare you? I think he does the whole dialogue too. All right,
love it.
Here's the question, man. David Letterman hooked up with probably not hooked up. That's gross. But
Partnered.
became partnered up exactly to do Habitats for Humanity, and we all want to do something good. Who are you teaming up with?
I'm going to team up with Chuck Norris, and we're going to rid the world with all evil and use exercise equipment. And Hoppa Dave's name will end up in his comedy books.
I like that plan.
What?
I don't
comedy
understand it
books?
at all.
What is he talking about?
He's going to partner with Chuck Norris
Yeah.
and teach kids how to fight for physical exercise, and then Chuck Norris will start writing comedy, and Hoppa Dave will be featured in his
Oh,
books.
now it makes perfect sense.
Oh, wait. There are joke books of Chuck Norris jokes.
Oh,
How
And
does
so
that-
then they would now be Hoppa Dave jokes.
yeah, like
And
Chuck Norris is so
jokes.
tough. I don't know the punch.
When-
By the way, just let's get this out there in the open then right now, that currently, today's situation, that Hoppa Dave from Guam would beat the bejesus out of our beloved
Yes.
Chuck Norris.
I can't remember any of those jokes, but there's so many of Chuck Norris.
I got in a fight with my son because he was misusing the word literally. And he had a T-shirt on that said, Chuck Norris uses pepper spray for hot sauce. And then he kept saying literally. And I said, I don't think you understand literally. Do you think Chuck Norris literally uses mace as steak sauce? And he was like 6. He goes, I don't know what Chuck Norris eats, Dad. Oh, I felt terrible.
Well, when Chuck Norris cuts onions, the onions literally cry.
Yeah, I've heard that.
That I know for
Okay,
sure.
That's a good one. Paula, who would you partner with to do good?
I'd partner with Leonardo DiCaprio because he's like all about the environmental causes, which I guess I care about or whatever. But dude, parties hard with like supermodels, mostly like underwear models.
Okay, so what
on a
he's saying
yacht.
is he wants to team up with Leonardo DiCaprio to do good.
Yeah.
One of the models is named Good, is what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Tori, who are you going to partner with to do good?
I'm going to partner with Keith Richards so we can help all the drug addicts.
Oh, that's nice.
But that could go two directions, I think.
Oh, they could most certainly. How about Joel Osteen? Can I do good with him?
Sure.
The preacher guy from TV. He seems like a decent guy.
What are you going to do?
All right. I'll tell you one thing. Well, I'm going to be blessed, and that's what the most important thing. But You may have missed the setup for this, but ladies and gentlemen, a little late in the day, but coming to you in just a few minutes, Jelly Bean's Joke of the Week.
And now, Jelly Bean's Joke of the Week.
Hey, Uncle Danny.
Hey.
Can I do my joke now?
Of course.
What part of your body can cause the end of the world?
All right, I'm racking my brain, sweetheart, but I don't know. You're going to have to tell me what part of the body can cause the end of the world.
Your apocalypse. Ha!
Your apocalypse.
Get it like lips, but apocalypse? I'm so funny.
Oh, yeah, you're rocking out.
News is brought to you by Les Schwab. A decades-old mine was discovered floating in the waters of Port Orchard Bay yesterday. The good news is it has been safely detonated, according to the U.S. Navy. There was no second explosion, so they do believe that the device was inert, but of course still caused a bit of panic yesterday. There were some evacuations, and they took some divers over there, attached a tow line, were able to get it away from the shore. So if it wasn't inert, it wasn't going to do any damage.
I was pretty excited, to be honest with you. There was no, and not just because I don't live anywhere near it could have gotten me. I just had no belief that thing was going to blow up on its own. Yeah. Although that was 70 years ago or whatever it's going to be. But I just thought, I can't wait till this thing blows up. And it was not a disappointment. It blew up good.
Yeah, and apparently the Navy's bomb squad doesn't have a swimming robot. Like here, we would send the robot, if it's on land, send the robot to do it, but they just throw a couple of guys in the water with a rope.
Which I appreciate.
Crazy to see.
The number of mutilated cats has grown in Thurston County. 12 cats have now turned up dead. The latest one was found in a field on Pacific Avenue Southeast off a popular Chehalis Western Trail. That's the name of the trail in Olympia. The man who found it said he could see a whole swarm of flies and bees and activity. Birds decided to go over and see, and there was a cat that had been displayed.
You know, there are people and crimes that do worse than others in jail. And I would imagine it's going to be a tough day to be this guy in jail.
Yeah,
nobody
likes somebody who mutilates animals.
No. If you escalate to that, then you might be just one of the normal horrible murderers that are in jail. But if you're the cat killer guy, if you're dissecting people's house pets, I think people might be a little bit rude to you when you get there. And you're going to get there, what, a month?
Well, we got to catch him
I hope
first.
sooner than that.
You hope sooner, but do you expect?
I'm surprised they haven't caught the guy
too.
by now. I expected, certainly when this got up to 6-7 animals, I thought they're going to catch him any day, and now we're double that.
I think, what's the date today?
Today is the 29th of August.
Well, I was going to say, I'll bet they catch him in August. But they'll definitely catch him by the end of September. Definitely.
Yeah.
The reward for the cat killer has now grown to $30,000, and anyone with information is encouraged to call the police. Lots of kids back at school today. Bellingham, Blaine, Bremerton, Carbonado, Renton, Snoqualmie, Shoreline, Shelton, and, of course, keeping a close eye on the potential teachers' strike in Seattle, Tacoma, and Puyallup. Those guys are scheduled to go back next week. But, of course, teacher strike could throw a monkey wrench in that. We'll keep you updated.
My son started at his new school yesterday. So it was pretty specific when I went to school what days all kids in public schools across America got. What day you stopped going to school for the summer break and what day school was back. Now it's different by zip code.
Yeah.
Different by area code.
And a lot depends on the weather, too. Are they planning for, is there going to be snow closures because of where you're located? Jelly Bean School District, and a lot of them don't start until next week now.
Yeah,
they'll be off Monday and then start on Tuesday.
For 2 days, a man dangled upside down from a tree, tangled in his safety harness, until being discovered by another hunter. The hunter found the man 11 o'clock in the morning, and this was a situation where the man had fallen from his tree stand, where he'd been hunting, hanging by his safety net, for a safety harness, for 2 days, 20 feet off the ground. The man was still conscious when the hunter found him. In order to get cell phone reception to call 911, he had to drive out to the freeway and then go back. Emergency responders from several agencies came to the man's aid. He lost consciousness. His heart stopped beating. They were able to get him to the hospital. We do not have an update on his condition.
Well, if it hasn't updated since his heart stopped beating, I'd say his prognosis is bad.
Well, he was alive when they got him into the helicopter. They were able to resuscitate him, but we just don't know what his condition is now. They have not revealed his name either.
Can you imagine being hung upside down by that horrible orange vest? Like that's where they're going. That's the first thing I would think. They're going to find me wearing this. What shoes do I have on?
Yesterday, Missouri became the first state in the country to have a law on the books that prohibits food makers from using the word meat to refer to anything other than animal flesh. This is taking aim at fake meat, non-traditional meat. They said...
So feet
or lab-grown meat. So, like green slime,
right?
purple, pink slime.
Pink slime.
Um,
Green slime is on Nickelodeon.
Right.
I don't know what purple slime is. Pink slime is the fake beef.
Barney.
Purple slime is Barney. What's he doing?
But also this week, Tofurkey, the company that makes Tofurkey,
Yeah, do they call that meat?
they filed an injunction that said they have the term on their packaging that it's plant-based meats. And they said, well, that means we can't have that on the packaging, which is confusing. You're telling walnut makers that they can't call the walnut is a meat. They call it like fruits and nuts. It's also called meat. So they said what you're doing is a little confusing.
No, I think what they're doing is confusing. Calling Tofurkey meat
or calling walnuts meat.
Yeah.
They said
I'm with Missouri on this one, and
Yeah,
I've never said that in my
said
entire
that, right.
life.
They said a lot of other products or a lot of items, it is meat.
Yeah, no, they're right. Everybody who says you can't put the word meat on anything that doesn't come from an animal is absolutely right, and everything else is a thief and a liar and a communist.
The Supreme Court decides quite a bit about American life, but according to a new poll, we don't know a whole heck of a lot about the Supreme Court. C-SPAN did this poll and revealed, they asked people during this poll, can you name any current justices on the Supreme Court?
Yeah.
Yeah.
52% of respondents either said no or had an incorrect response.
Yeah, I'm going with Ruth Bader Ginsburg
That's
as
the most
mine.
popular one.
And yes,
Chief
because her name
Justice,
sticks up.
John Roberts.
There you go.
Yeah, it's Clarence Thomas. He's still a judge.
Sonia Sotomayor.
Yeah, no. So we're smarter than 50%
Yeah, we got a few.
about this commercial.
Yeah, Ruth Bader Ginsburg was the one that people could recall the most, followed by John Roberts. However, the least common, like when they ask, can you name any, the least common one, Stephen Breyer.
Oh,
I forgot about him.
Breyer pants on
He's
fire.
newish, right? He's pretty new.
Gorsuch is, I think,
Gorsuch,
the
He's
newest.
in most recent.
Samuel Alito, Alina Kagan.
I thought he died. Samuel Alito. No, Antonin Scalia died.
Antonin Scalia, yeah. That, I never realized quite how similar their names are. Only 2% of people said Stephen Breyer. Samuel Alito, only 3% of people, but 52% of people could not name any current ones.
Well, that's sad.
It is super sad.
No, about super. Moderately sad, but my day will continue.
Well, I'm heartbroken, Danny. I'm overwhelmed. I can't go on.
I don't know what we'll do.
I'm sure you'll recover.
Okay, I'm fine now.
All right, good.
Police in Chattanooga say an officer unintentionally fired his department-issued firearm 3 times, hitting a person who had just committed suicide. The incident happened about...
That seems fairly unlikely.
Yeah. All right, what? I don't even know where to start with this. I'm like, it's fire your gun accidentally 3 times.
So he's pointing his gun at the person, telling them don't commit suicide. I get that, why the gun's pointed in their direction. And then maybe the first shot, because they shoot and it's just reflex.
Do you know the story? Is that what happened? The guy wasn't dead when he got there?
Well, no, I'm just assuming. I'm guessing here. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how it could possibly happen. That's the only scenario I see. You think he walked in on a dead guy and then, like, without taking his gun out of the holster, he accidentally shot him?
I don't know how as I started this, I don't know how you shoot your gun accidentally a 3rd time.
They arrive at the scene, and the person is suicidal and has a handgun. And the police said, put down your gun.
Right, and they're going to point their guns at him while they say that, likely.
They turn the gun on themselves, Shot
The cops did?
The suicidal person turned the gun on himself, shot himself dead. Then that's when the police accidentally fired 3 rounds, hitting the chair twice, and then hitting the body of the person who had just killed themselves.
I find this sad.
They're all on administrative
I'll bet
leave
they
right now.
are.
I guess when that cop, he's firing because he hears the bang and it's like instinct for him to fire. I guess it's the same instinct to pull that trigger multiple times because
But
that's
why
how they
don't-
train.
Why don't you hit your target who's right there?
They oftentimes don't.
They hit him once, and then they hit a chair.
Twice.
What'd the chair do
Hit
to
a
you?
chair twice.
Well, they didn't want that chair to commit suicide either.
Oh, goodness. A teenager was subdued and robbed after robbing a convenience store at gunpoint in Phoenix.
And then he was subdued and robbed?
Yes.
Nice.
Police arrived and found that several customers had detained a 17-year-old male who had allegedly robbed the store. Police learned that the suspect pointed a handgun at the cashier and several customers and stole $300 worth of cigarettes. As he was leaving, he was tackled by one of the customers, and all the other customers joined in the fight. Witnesses reported to police the suspect tried to reach into his waist for his handgun, was knocked unconscious when someone kicked him in the head. The customer who kicked him took the pistol and left.
Wow. I was not expecting that.
Police say another customer reached into his pocket and took an unknown item, and there is surveillance footage that corroborates all of this story. The suspect was taken to the hospital for his injuries and says, "I don't own a gun and I don't remember anything about a robbery."
All right. And he'll do. There's witnesses in film. He'll be busted. When I was living in Detroit, a bunch of people crashed, but specifically this woman crashed, and she's pinned in her car upside down. She's screaming for help, and these people go to her and go, "Are you okay? Do you need blah blah?" And then they rob her right in the car where she's hanging upside down, and then they went forward and robbed the guy in the car that was not upside down. They just went up to victims of crimes and started robbing them.
Terrible people.
Terrible people, man.
What do you know about Red Bull?
That it gives you wings.
Right. Well, now they are coming out with a Red Bull that does not give you wings.
Why would I want a Red Bull that doesn't give me wings?
It's a new line of organic sodas. Now, there is bitter lemon, which is actually quite delicious, a ginger ale, and a tonic water that are all caffeine-free. Then they do have a cola, which has the same amount of caffeine as a typical cola, which might give you like a little nub, but not really give you wings.
Yeah.
So they're
You
coming
said
out.
which one is delicious?
Oh, bitter lemon. I really like that. That's popular in England.
Maybe I've seen it. I don't know.
I've
They
seen
have
other
different-
things that are that
they have
flavor.
different colored cans nowadays. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, bitter lemon is a popular drink in England, and it's something that's pretty delightful with gin. They are also coming out with coconut berry, tropical fruit, blueberry, kiwi twist, and others. You like these things.
I don't like it made by Red Bull. How dare you? Make me hyperactive. Make my hands twitch. It's your job.
More than 25,000 pounds of Cargill ground beef products are being recalled because they might have E. coli.
Well, that's not good.
Who wants tofurkey now, bitches?
Well said.
Still not us, though.
Still
by
not
the way.
us, but you got to give it to when she said it right. She said it right.
She did.
Now, they're concerned that some people might have these in their freezer. The problem was detected about a week ago, and they advised people if you have Cargill ground beef, take a look.
Oh, Cargill is a brand name.
Yeah.
I thought you were mispronouncing cargo, and I just wasn't going to say anything.
A bakery in Amsterdam has been really beaten up on social media for the name of their new store.
Uh-oh.
A bakery in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Anne and Frank.
Well, it's better than Naziville, which is what I was expecting.
Yeah.
So Anne and Frank. And what are they making? What is it?
It's a bakery.
And is there any chance somebody named Anne
and Frank own it?
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh.
It's right around the corner from the Anne Frank house.
Which, by the way, is really moving, but I'll tell you this up front, spoiler alert, pretty small.
And you did get hungry there, so you would have liked to go to the bakery.
I would have. And should have. That way I wouldn't have said I'm starved in the middle of the Anne Frank Museum.
Well, they have really gotten beaten up for their name. They said it might have been a little bit better if somebody's name was Anne or Frank,
Right, yeah.
but it's not.
Yeah.
So they're just calling him tasteless. And they are now presently considering changing the name.
Well, that's a bad name for a bakery, too. Tasteless?
Yeah,
Don't call
I
it
was thinking
Tasteless
that. Totally
Bakery.
true. Now, I forget, is Amsterdam a city or a country?
City.
In what country?
The Netherlands.
The Netherlands, Holland.
So why, having been there, do you have to pause if I'm not right and it's all fake?
Dairy Queen locations will be giving away a free small blizzard on Labor Day. All you need to do is download their new mobile app. Pretty easy peasy. You can also pick up discounted burgers and a blizzard combo deal and all sorts of deliciousness. They're also going to be bringing back the pumpkin pie blizzard, which features pieces of pumpkin pie in the soft serve.
Yeah, definitely.
That sounds
Although
great.
everything DQ's doing these days is I'm in. I think it's all great. They're different flavored blizzards are great. The things they're using as hot foods. I don't completely understand their slogan, but I remember it. Dairy Queen, we're not fast food, we're fan food.
Well, you're a fan of their food, right?
No, I'm not sure. That's what makes it a bad slogan, yet I remember it.
I just had my first DQ. It was like a week or two ago when they brought them in, and it's really scrumptious.
It is. It's wonderful.
The car used to transport Pope Francis during his 2-day visit to Ireland last week will be donated to a homeless charity. Not sure what homeless people need with a bulletproof vehicle, but
Selling it. By the way, in my estimation, it's not bulletproof.
This is the blue Skoda Rapid.
I don't know.
This is a
I
different.
was talking about the Pope Mobile they have there. It's actually open on 3 sides.
Yeah.
Yep. This is an actual car, and the Archdiocese said that they will be using the vehicle to transport families to new homes once they stop being homeless. But the Pope used it while he was in Ireland. I was like, nah, I really don't need this. So.
You can't do that, what he's planning to do with a bulletproof car to a charity anyway. You know how much that car must weigh? 5 times what a non-bulletproof car weighs.
Yeah, your gas bill is going to be
the gas bill's outlandish. The suspension is outlandish. I don't know what that Pope is up to.
Sell it off and buy like 6 vans.
Yes, that's what they'll do.
This week, a man was arrested at LAX, Los Angeles International Airport, after jumping a fence and running onto the runway. As you know, you can't do that.
No, you can't do that.
But we've seen it recently.
We've seen it a lot
Remember
recently.
a guy with no shirt on just yelling at the passengers?
Well, this guy also did not have a shirt on.
Huh.
He did not have pants on and ran up to a Delta Airlines plane and proceeded to do push-ups.
Okay, in his defense, it's actually called a runway. Anything else, I think, is breaking the rules.
Yeah, they said he did not have a ticket. So it's recently we've heard of people running onto the tarmac trying to get onto their plane.
Right.
But no, he just wanted to show off his push-up skills. He was taken into custody. They do believe it's possible narcotics were involved.
If possible.
And French maritime authorities are appealing for calm after fishermen from rival fleets, French and British, banged their boats together, all in a fight over scallops.
Well, they're good. They're worth fighting for, if you ask me.
All these boats were converging on the waters that are full of scallops, and everybody's fishing and excited. Tempers flared, and they started ramming each other. Who's going to get closer to the better scallops?
Yeah.
They are now pleading for calm and saying everybody can get their scallops.
Are there enough scallops to go around?
Nothing to
Now
see.
I said scallops.
There are never enough scallops to go
Man,
around.
I had scallops yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, at a sushi bar, scallop hand roll.
Yum.
Yum. I'm not a big fan of them cooked, but in a hand roll.
You know,
heck
Amy
yeah.
said that, and then I made her some, and she changed her tune. That's what you need. You need me to cook you up some scallops.
All right.
They're yummy.
News is brought to you by Les Schwab, but we have so much more show still to come. A very cool yet peculiar concert just took place at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery in Los Angeles. We'll tell you the who, the why, and the what. Also, some very cool Rolling Stones news. Plus, the Seahawks. A big trade this morning. We'll tell you who's headed to town next in sports. The annual tribute to late Ramones guitarist Johnny Ramone just took place at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery in Los Angeles. This year's ceremony featured some extra star power. We had Green Day frontman Billy Joe Armstrong, GNR bassist Duff McKagan, Sex Pistols guitarist Steve Jones, and Portlandia star Fred Armisen.
Makes perfect sense.
They were on hand to perform acoustic set, which was all Ramone songs. His widow helps to organize this event each year, and they play songs like Rockaway Beach, Judy is a Punk Rocker. This year they also did the Sex Pistols' Pretty Vacant.
You know, I can't imagine the Ramones acoustic, though.
Yeah.
What would that sound like? They're thrashers and mayhemables.
You know, it's funny, I didn't even
And does
think
Duff
of it.
McKagan play a stand-up bass?
You know, I don't know, as I've never attended it, and I've never seen anybody's cell phone footage or anything.
Did you ever see MTV's Unplugged?
Of course, yeah.
Did you realize that none of those people were ever unplugged, ever? Somebody plugged into something every time, usually the bass. But mostly once they started saying, well, if the bass gets to plug in, then everybody started plugging in. There was some acoustic guitar somewhere.
And we are finding out some information about a newly restored, expanded version of Sympathy for the Devil, the 1968 film by famed French director Jean-Luc Godard, that offered a candid in-studio look at the Rolling Stones as they created the song Sympathy for the Devil. This is going to be released on DVD and Blu-ray October 5th in celebration of the 50th anniversary. Now, the band members were all captured at the sound studio. The year was 1968, and this will be remastered and have all sorts of studio extras, director's cut, and all sorts of unseen stuff before. So a bit of a must-see for Stones fans. Tomorrow morning, right around the same time, Tori will tell us about all the new music that is coming out this week.
All right.
A lot of good stuff already on the agenda. I know nobody likes missing a good concert. But typically, if it involves leaving an 11-year-old child at home for 5 days, you should probably skip that
3
concert.
days is my cutoff point.
That's a long concert.
Until they're 13, and then for the rest of their lives.
A Texas couple in their 40s and late 30s, they were arrested after abandoning their 11-year-old daughter at home.
You realize we're all going to judge heavily by what band they went to see.
Godflesh, Danny. They went to see Godflesh.
You cannot abandon an 11-year-old child for a week to see Godflesh.
They drove.
Hanson, maybe, because they're the same age.
They drove from Texas to Detroit to see veteran industrial metal act Godflesh. And they said this is a UK act who've hardly ever performed in the US. They had to go see Godflesh.
Sure, yeah.
Turns out the kid was trying to cook herself a meal, didn't really know how to, calls her aunt, and her aunt says, what do you mean your parents went to see Godflesh? Called the cops, and now, as you can imagine, the parents are in a wee bit of trouble.
Now, see, remember the other day we were talking about an 8-year-old that walked her dog by herself and the cops came over?
Yeah.
And I think, kind of inappropriate, but not bad to be looking at an 8-year-old. No harm, no foul. I guess they didn't take the kid away. This one, you might have to think of the future of that child.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, if they're going to leave for 5 days. First of all, you went to see Godflesh. I'm going to remove the kid just for that.
Right there.
Yeah, I mean, Derek, can you turn this up? Can we hear this?
It doesn't get better when you make it louder.
Oh, my gosh.
So, but if you can make it louder, it stands to reason you can make it not louder. Let's do that.
Meghan Markle's stunning wedding dress and tiara are going on display. Her Givenchy gown will be shown to visitors at Windsor Castle, where she tied the knot, and then at Holyrood House in Edinburgh, Scotland. As a bonus, fans will get to see her tiara, the veil, and all that other good stuff. There had been rumors that this was going to get put on display, but they have now confirmed, yes, it will. And Harry's frock coat uniform will also be on display.
Neat. You know you're a big star when your clothes can go on tour.
Right?
Like, normally I would have to go do something, and you would have to go do something, and people would pay money because nope, I'm just going to show you my knickers. Really? You're going to take your underwear off? Yep, for $5.
We're learning a little bit more about Senator John McCain's farewell taking place on Saturday. His pallbearers will be Joe Biden, Michael Bloomberg, former Defense Secretary William Cohen, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, FedEx President Fred Smith, and Warren Beatty.
Warren Beatty, the actor?
Yes.
Wow. Kind of an interesting crew that you got going on there. Plus, isn't he the staunch Republican of the world?
I'm sorry, which one?
The dead guy, John McCain.
John McCain?
He was very, very conservative, but willing to, you know,
but
compromise.
he was a Republican senator.
He was, yeah.
Half of those guys are Democrats. That's interesting. And elected Democrats, not just guys who say they're Democrats.
Right.
That's weird, but good for him.
We're also going to see Vice President Mike Pence, Lindsey Graham, Henry Kissinger, Barack Obama, George W. Bush, and others. His body will be lying in state Friday and then laid to rest on Saturday.
Oh, I thought Lindsey Graham was the guy on Fleetwood Mac.
Did I say Lindsey Graham?
You did.
You did.
And that's Lindsey Buckingham.
And I'm talking Lindsey Buckingham.
Yeah. Okay. Woo. I don't know what words are coming out of my mouth. Amazon has something brand new that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
A Prime book box for kids. Parents will get a delivery of books selected based on the child's age, and it's delivered either 1, 2, or each 3 months, depending on how much your kid wants to read. Each box will cost $23, and you can curate it, or Amazon can curate it for you based on your kid's age.
All right, that's kind of nice.
That is cool.
Yeah. Y'all were trying to think of something to hate on. You realize it's actually pretty cool.
You know, usually, and let me tell you how this works as a hater. You don't really have to think on it. You just hate right away. They say, here's a feel-good story. Boom, hate it. Already, I hate it.
Well, here's a feel-good story that not even you can hate, Danny.
Oh, please.
Derek and Tori are going out for happy hour tomorrow.
Oh, I hate Derek.
4 till 6, Derek and Tori will be at Duke's Seafood and Chowder in Green Lake. Not only will they be hanging out with you, having a good old time, they're giving away a $500 gift card on site. That's a whole lot of chowder.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Duke's was voted best restaurant and best seafood restaurant in 2018. Duke's, ironically, Seattle, for more than 40 years. They're setting the standard for sustainable seafood. So remember, that is tomorrow, happy hour.
Duke's winning the best seafood restaurant in Seattle. Man, that's all we got is seafood. You must be great to win that.
And they are fantastic.
They are fantastic. I was just there literally last week, I believe, maybe 10 days ago.
Let's take a look at sports.
Sports
brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys. If you're facing a DUI, call 1-800-DUI-AWAY, 1-800-DUI-AWAY. A tough loss for the Mariners yesterday. King Felix outpitched by a rookie, and the Padres, no less. 2-1 was the final. Now, the Astros and the A's are playing each other. These are the three teams we're really battling to get either into first or into wild card. Derek, where do we stand in the standings?
In the AL West, we are 7 games out of first place, and in the wild card standings, we are 5.5 games back.
It's not good.
No, it's not.
It's not good.
And we're running out of time.
Yeah, bleak. I might use the word bleak.
Turn it around.
Unfortunately, the Yankees have started winning a lot of games too, and that's who we're battling for wild card right now. Mariners Padres first pitch today, 12:40. Root Sports. Erasmo Ramirez and Joey Lucchesi. Go Mariners.
Go Mariners.
Go Mariners.
I did say we have some big Seahawks news.
Yeah, you did.
A trade with the Green Bay Packers is sending quarterback Brett Hundley our way.
He's not the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers.
I thought she was going to say Aaron Rodgers. And I thought,
what are you talking about?
He was the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers because remember Aaron Rodgers was
last season he was hurt.
He was out for the majority of the season.
And did they win the Super Bowl?
No, they did not.
Some other
perform
backup quarterback won the Super Bowl.
This is true.
We know sports.
Brett Hundley coming to Seattle. We are giving Green Bay a 2019 draft pick. Now, he did play backup, and he had been battling Deshaun Kaiser for this year's backup, but now he will be ours. And we knew we needed someone. So he had some decent games for Green Bay last year. You know, tough schedule. Welcome to town. The Seattle Storm won in overtime last night in front of a sold-out Key Arena crowd. They now lead the Phoenix Mercury 2-0 in the best-of-5 series. Like I said, overtime, and Sue Bird said, we've all said this is playoffs. It's not supposed to be easy. So we can punch a ticket to the WNBA Finals if we get a win on Friday. Phoenix Mercury tip-off is at 7. Go Storm.
Go Storm.
Go Tips.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Thank you.
Go Tips.
In NBA news. For the first time in league history, the NBA will allow players to wear sneakers of any color at any point during the upcoming season.
Oh, wardrobe changes for me. Totally. I'd rather do at least 8 pairs of shoes.
Yeah.
Danny, you've got a big sneaker collection.
Yes, I
Imagine
do.
if somebody said when you come to work, you can only wear white or black. You'd be furious.
I would be furious. I spend a lot of money on green and blue.
Well, they want to let NBA players be more expressive on the court, and that's a way for them to do so. So they'll be able to mix it up with colors.
But same manufacturer.
It depends. They are allowed to wear Nike. 67% of players wore Nike footwear or Jordan brand last season.
Yeah, I don't think they have an exclusive shoe deal for the league.
For the NBA.
Certain players have. It's not like with the NFL. They can only wear one type of shoe.
Ah, thank you.
So football has real tight restrictions. Tennis and the NBA, especially multiple players have deals.
Yeah.
And as part of that deal, if you're Adidas, you can only wear Adidas, or
That
they
makes
drop
perfect
you.
sense.
You're in big trouble. Sports This Morning brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys. If you're facing a DUI, call 1-800-DUI-AWAY. That's 1-800-DUI-AWAY. A very special thank you to Rick Jones.
Rick Jones!
Of Goldberg Jones. 1-800-DIVORCE. He was on this morning at 7:30. We had so many calls.
I thought he was, he always answers the questions, so I don't know why I think this, but I thought he did exceptionally well today.
too.
It was great today. It'll be up on the website. If anybody misses it, that'll be up at KZOK.com.
I think when he took like something, he took how important this was to this caller, but then expanded to him and he goes, I want everybody to hear this. And then said really important stuff. I thought that was great.
Well, I know some people were waiting and didn't get through. It was just so jam-packed, and a lot of people might have had similar questions, so I'm glad that's going to be up on our website.
Wait a minute. What's the date today?
The 29th of August.
And when does Rick Jones come in?
Normally on the first Wednesday, but he had some scheduling issues, so we did it on the last Wednesday.
Totally lost track of where I was, man. That was it's Rick Jones Day today.
Yeah, normally he'd be in next Wednesday, but due to some travel.
Today he came in on Wonton Wednesday.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, he did.
We've got a jam-packed show for
tomorrow.
Tomorrow would be
Thursday.
It'd be very good to have a show
Thursday, but what could tomorrow be with a TH sound?
TH.
But that isn't Thursday?
Yeah. Thursday,
Okay.
yeah. Thong Thursday?
Thong Thursday,
Because you'll have a filthy forecast, right? It's got to be Thong Thursday.
All right, Thong Thursday tomorrow, 7:50.
Have you ever wondered how we picked out what we're going to say on the show tomorrow? You just heard it. that was our prep meeting, and we can now all go earlier.
7:50, Thong Thursday, a filthy forecast. At 7:20, another chance to win a pair of tickets to Battle at the Boat 117. And as I said, 9 o'clock, Tori will tell us all the new music in stores.
It's a lovely thing. I'll tell you, he's going to come in and tell you everything there is to tell you about classic rock and roll. And by the way, I'm not kidding. I don't know how he is about his age, but he's been in radio, 700 years, Steve Slayton has? And he's going to come in. If you have a question or story, you want to know how a band got together, he probably talked to him. He might even be in the liner notes on your favorite album. Anyway, he's going to come right up, and he's going to play some classic rock and roll for you. That's Steve Slayton. We should get out of his way, so bye.